Previously on Escape from San Francisco.
This just in, an unidentified man has been caught doing a deuce on Nancy Pelosi's driveway.
So let me get this straight, Mr. Beekler. You took a big old shit on Mrs. Pelosi's driveway?
Justice. It's crude, it's disgusting, and it's funny as hell. It's just another piece of poop on the sidewalk of San Francisco, and it just so happened to be in front of Nancy Pelosi's house.
Order in the court. What in the living f*** is wrong with you, son? Didn't you even wipe afterwards?
A couple of days ago.
Oh my goodness!
Order in the court. I said order in the court! That's better. Mr. Beekler, having considered all the factors and aggravations and mitigations in this case and found the offense was brutal, indicative of wanton cruelty, the judgment of this court sentenced you to life in prison.
Come on. That's bullshit.
No, no, that is trash.
This is not okay. It's just not. We gotta like lock arm in arm and be together in a football locker room. That stuff is gone. Those barriers are gone.
Welcome. Please enjoy your stay.
Now it's 1984. Knock a knock.
Hi. How you doing? Hang on.
It's gonna be so good.
Nerdrotic.com.
Check. Hey. What's up, everybody? Thank you, Perry Chan. You're a good man for putting me in a compromising position in the shower. Yikes. The trick is to kick the soap all the way to the cell. That's the trick. Eyes up, never, soap's not worth it. You can always get another bar. You don't want things put in places you don't want things put. You can quote me on that. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner, everybody. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I am live in North County, San Diego, California, in a quiet suburb of San Diego County. It's quite nice and lovely here. Had a little rain last night. Yes, it does rain in California. Acid rain, I'm sure. Things we're going to talk about today. Well, I hit 300,000 subscribers. We're at 303 right now, and it's all because of you. I cannot express my gratitude for this, and this has won me a prize. I won a couple of badges from a Karen on YouTube, YouTube's official Karen. some wanker from Australia decided to put this channel, Nerdrotic Live, and a lot of other channels in categories. I would say I wouldn't argue with one of them. I would definitely argue with the other. I don't know what constitutes a political channel. I'm certainly, I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I'm going to talk about, especially when it affects my life personally. But last time I checked, I had 1,007 videos. I don't know if that counts my uploads or unlisted live streams, but thousands of hours of live streams. And you could say that maybe a handful of those live streams and videos are political and the rest are pop culture. I don't think it's too... the thing is, Hollywood and the BBC have gotten political. And what I have said from the beginning is I would like to see it presented evenly. I'd like to see some neutrality. I'd like to see some arguments from both sides. I think you get a little more nuance that way and you get better storytelling. But the entertainment industry has relabeled themselves the influence industry. And it's all because of social media. They are competing directly against social media. And so is the mainstream media. And they are losing. And they know it. A great example is Quibi. One of the biggest failures of all time, and that was Hollywood directly trying to compete with YouTube, and we destroyed them, and they set fire to a couple $2 billion. When if they would have bought me a lunch or Robert Meyer Burnett a lunch or anybody here, people who agree with me or disagree with me, we could have said, this is probably not a good idea. I do not come to YouTube to look for posh. I don't look for a polished set and editing and lower thirds and graphics. I go for the person who runs that channel or the people who run that channel, and and that channel will take on the personality of whoever runs it, unless it's a soulless entity like Collider or the Nerdist, where you can tell it's corporate owned and they just hire out of work actors, struggling comedians who decided one morning it was cool to go to Target, buy a Spider-Man shirt, and become a nerd. And they're still trying. They're still trying. Didn't I hear that Rooster Teeth hired Grace Randolph? What does that tell you? I mean, Rooster Teeth, I don't know why Grace Randolph would go there. It seems like a step down for her. And not that I'm crazy about her, especially her most recent take, which was about Chris Pratt, which was just awful, just awful. But, that's what happens when you want to stick your nose up Hollywood's ass. Personally, there are people I like. There are creatives that I like still. There's a couple shows out there that I like that hopefully they don't go woke. We'll see. But I call it like I see it. I call it like I see it. And if something like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, for some reason got good, I would tell you that's not going to happen. I don't think, especially when you fundamentally destroyed mostly those three properties with identity politics, intersectional feminism, two things that don't really go with art, to be honest with you. And art shouldn't be restricted. And again, now I think there's a couple lines you shouldn't cross, but that's a couple out of infinite number of lines. And well, there's an article that came out. If I see if I can find it, there was an article about Hollywood agents trying to, sail the seas or something to that effect of identity politics and creativity, which they just are diametrically opposed. So, I talk about what I talk about, what affects my life, what I'm into, and I give my opinions. I am not a news channel. I am not informational, and I am not overtly political. I think I've said pretty clearly that I didn't see, and we'll show on Transparency Tube, I didn't see a centrist option. I didn't see it anywhere. So not to go too deep into this, but My entire generation back in the day was trying to fight labels. That's what we were about. Punk rock is about fighting labels. It's about being anti-establishment. And Doomcock said this eloquently on the Inquisition twice. You know, he said what fascism really is, and it's the state and the corporations and that working together. Basically, you cannot tell the difference between the two. And well, when you see a bunch of people running around in masks, burning stuff down, and then you see the corporations supporting them, who's supporting the system then? And when they are constantly trying to find different ways to shut us up without actually showing any of our content. You know, a lot of us do live streams, hours and hours long. Show me specific times in my live stream where I was anti-alphabet. I was an ist of any kind. I try not to even say these words because I try to stay on this platform. I think it's ridiculous speaking YouTube speak, but you've heard my philosophy before. If I'm not on this platform, what good am I doing? You know, for one, I'm having fun. I like it. And, I understand the conundrum YouTube is in. They want to make money. But they've let the wolf in the door because what they've done is they haven't seen outside their partisanship. Right. And they have allowed a lot of people to say a lot of things. You know, Crowder was on this morning. He was talking about that thing we should not be talking about. And that was allowed. So we have to credit that. That was allowed. Yes, they did demonetize him for a very long time. But and there are certainly things going on. But this transparency tube, is it going to be used as a tool for advertisers or yeah, I don't know. My first instinct with things like this is to not bring attention to them because I am powerless. There isn't anything we can do. I heard talks of lawsuits, and if I thought we could, sure, get into a class action lawsuit against this guy. But I mean, when we talk about them, we make them relevant. But it's already been talked about. It's out there. Can't unmake the soup, so I'm going to address it. Putting me definitively in the right section. So I was put in right and anti-SJW. Well, are you saying I'm right to be anti-SJW? Okay, I'm okay with that. Thanks for the shout out. I had some very good company, so it's not about the company I have a problem with. If that's the way that guy sees it, sure, fine. If that was an opinion piece saying this is how I see things. But no, he's presenting it as like this is fact, and it's just not. It's just not. Now, I want to make it clear that, the reason they're saying Clownfish TV is right or just some guys right or I am or others is simply because we'll talk to the other side. We won't denounce the other side or demonize the other side because I am of the belief, based on what I have seen over my 51 years on this planet, that the vast majority of Republicans are just regular folk who just go to work. They're not white supremacists or anything like that. And we have seen the rhetoric escalate to hysterical proportions. And when the other side has to silence through deceit, what does that tell you? When they can't present anything, when they can't back up any of their arguments, and sure, they're going to bring up, the alt-right fools. I have nothing to do with them. I think they're idiots. And we're talking about like 1,000 people. But I think people like Salty Cracker and Josiah should have their say. They have their point of view. Would I agree with everything they say? Probably not, but I doubt they would agree with everything I said, but they have a place. They have their right to say something in this country. It's part of what makes this country great. I like there being two parties. I wish there was more. But unfortunately, I think we're going to probably end up going down to one, which would be terrible, utterly terrible. Because I think the two parties strike a balance. And right now, the extremes, people say the extremes are running both parties. I'm not too sure about that right now. At times, that probably could happen, but I would say that Antifa is a pretty easy thing to denounce based on their actions. I don't care what they call themselves. I'm just basically watching all the shit burn down, and that's bad for business. You are terrorizing innocent people who did nothing but wanted to open a pizza shop or a sports bar or a clothing store. And they really had nothing to do with whatever you think your beef is. And it's acting out like a bunch of children. I know the COOF had everything to do with this, people being pent up, and this has also been organized. And we don't hear enough about this. I said it last night, and I agree. Steven Crowder said this originally, and I completely agree with this. I would love to see the media be bulldogs on on any president. I'm fine with that as long as they do it, if they apply it evenly, but they don't. And that's simply what we're pointing out. And sometimes we do it in a humorous way. Sometimes we do it in a salty way. That's what I do. But putting me in that category is categorically false, but the guy's going to do what he's going to do. So the only thing I can do is go on this platform and keep doing what I'm doing. And, but was there an effect on YouTube? Well, this could have been a coincidence. It could have been, or it might not have been. So his original post went up on the 21st. So I don't know if that's when the site was launched, but that's when it hit Twitter, and that's when it went out there. The next day, PewDiePie, it was within 48 hours. I can't say it was the next day. I don't know for sure. PewDiePie's video was suppressed. So was Doomcock's. So was Heel versus Babyface and I believe others. My Cal Exit video was stopped in its tracks. Utterly stopped in its tracks. It was on an upward trajectory. It did very well. I'm very happy with it. But it stopped in its tracks. And it got 143,000 views in one day on the 21st. By the 23rd, it was down to 18,000 views. That's not even possible unless something happened. So, and again, I'm not going to cry the YouTube blues. It's done. There's nothing I can do about it. Is it going to discourage me? No, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. These things happen. And they have happened before on YouTube when they change something in the algorithm. See, they're not going to tell us. And the reason they don't tell us is if they go, we're going to change something in the algorithm and it might affect your views, then nobody will upload those 2 days. And they don't want that. I think that would be a better approach, being open and honest with the people on here. But that's not what YouTube does. They tell us what they want to tell us. And we just, live one day at a time and always have a backup plan. This isn't going to last forever, and it's obvious. But when they're starting to come after Fandom Menace channels that use the hashtag the Fandom Menace, who just talk about Star Wars, there are channels in there that don't get political at all, that don't deserve to be in there. And there's too many to name. But like Young Ripa, my good friend Eric July, is pretty damn open about his politics. And I am probably closer to his politics than any other. I have been anti-establishment all my life. And that's just the way it's been. And when you've been homeless I have been a ward of the state. I have belonged to the state for a couple, 3 years. And it's not a position I want to be in again, especially when I haven't broken a law. When I broke a law, I had it coming. I did my time, had it coming. That's it. But I don't want to be in that position again when I have done everything I'm supposed to do since then. unfortunately, we're being punished. There was an article that came out in the LA Times yesterday that we're going to go over in a bit that said San Francisco is the model city for the COOF. And they have had some of the lowest numbers. We've had they had some of the lowest numbers from the beginning. And the article states, as its fact, instead of stating like it's an editorial, that if the country had done what London Breed did, only 50,000 people would have died and not 200, which is utter bullshit. Utter, complete bullshit. And then let's think about the other numbers. What about the consequences after? What about the 42% spike in burglaries and home invasions, which are becoming quite a thing in the Bay Area and San Francisco? What about the 54% of businesses that have been lost forever? What about the relapses? What about the self-deletions? What about lost jobs? How are you going to put that into a little pie graph? See, you can't. And they wouldn't if they could, because that would scare the shit out of people a lot worse. And maybe somebody should do some data on that. I wouldn't be that guy or gal, obviously. But, they roll out the little pie charts. They tell you things are spiking because they want you scared and divided. They want us scared and divided. Scared and divided. And as far as entertainment is concerned, well, they have helped this along. And so has the mainstream media. And they want to continue doing that. And I thought about it last night, right? When I was drifting off to sleep, I'm like, oh, maybe entertainment just wants everyone categorized and labeled so it's easier to sell shit to people. And it's easier to find advertisers and stuff. And that's one of the theories about transparency, dude. I mean, if the guy did it for financial gain, that would make sense. I'm guessing he was funded. Doubt he did this on his own time for funsies. I doubt he watched any of my videos or listened to any of my podcasts. And, it's just another list. I ended up on a list before, and it ended up fading away. But there are channels who should be pissed about this. I'm like, if being against censorship, for free expression, against totalitarianism, against violence, denouncing the violence of Antifa. I don't think you've heard me denounce peaceful protest. If somebody's actually out there protesting peacefully, they got their little sign up there in front of City Hall and their little megaphone. I never had a problem with that. Go for it. Rock on. Blocking freeways. Watch it. I personally think it's annoying. You're stopping people from going to work. And that's your whole point is I'm going to make somebody late to work to bring attention to my cause. And I'm sure that's going to flip their opinion on it. Oh, I just lost my job because some bored college kid blocked a freeway, thinking they're making the world a better place. Remember that statement. I got a little homework for you all. If you got time and if you have access, watch Silicon Valley Season 1. It's by Mike Judge. And the whole theme of that is Silicon Valley and what's the philosophy behind that place. And it's basically they are justifying becoming companies that are bigger than any company in history, becoming billionaires, destroying privacy, bringing on censorship by making the world a better place. And also watch The Social Dilemma if you want to be really disturbed. And not by the thesis of the documentary, about the philosophy behind the people making the documentary. To sum it up, it's The Boys episode 7, season 2. It's elections are swayed by dumbasses who read memes. Which is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. Did a lot of live streaming this weekend. I wanted to thank, once again, Mahler and Rags and Drinker and Heel versus Babyface And oh my God, who else was on us with us? Had a good time on EFAP. I was on for 8.5 hours and had a good show last night on the Inquisition with Doomcock. It was a lot of fun. Excuse me. Sorry to DSP you there. Get my bottle of water. But I wanted to, usually the celebrations are kind of a chill stream, but unfortunately the transparency tube thing hit. I've got a video coming out on it and probably one of my favorite thumbnails ever. Just saying. As a matter of fact, I wasn't sure I was going to make a video until I made the thumbnail. I'm like, I got to make a video for this thumbnail because I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, I changed the thumbnail from this one because I didn't want to spoil the surprise. But if you're wondering who the guy with the mask on is, that's the guy who created Transparency Tube, the wanker from Australia. By the way, not from this country. Not from this country. And interfering with a lot of American YouTubers and British YouTubers as well. So let's go. We're going to see who's here. Then we're going to hit that. We're going to go right to Transparency Tube. Then we'll go to the SF article. We are going to talk about some pop culture and maybe chill at the end a little bit. First, let's see who's here. Welcome, everybody. We got Ram Bam 3000. We got Trina Guthridge, Yates Networks, Nicholas Cruiser, Mark Lerzeth and his wrench. Welcome, sir. James Fowler, Gil Gerard's left foot. Derek McManus. How did you come up with, were you just like, I need a name. Gil Gerard's left foot. All right. Scottish Nerd, hail. Geek Tropology, Christopher Ward, the Anime Slayer, Mystery Hombre. Okay, on the way. Grand Wazoo 42, Wendy Lou. Oh, it rhymed. Jeffrey Riley, MC, Finbar Hooley, Problem Being and his wrench, Bastard, Judson, Gaydon, Whack Cackle. I'm Catmundo. There you go. Or Catmandu. There you go. Chris Persia and Tomato Sauce. How do you think of that name? You're like, I like tomato sauce. That'll be my name. Lord Thoth, welcome. It was good talking to you on the member stream. Al Bundy from my favorite sitcom of all time. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Hail Benj. ID Fox 11. So yeah, let's start out with Transparency Tube, shall we? See if I got this set up right. There we go. We'll do it with the chat. So it's a bunch of little circles and bubbles. And if you want to know how, I mean, this is how, I don't know exactly if it's like this, but this is how I kind of see how YouTube works. Not with the, well, maybe it is a little bit how YouTube works because they do, YouTube is based on that, whatever Google's version of Facebook was supposed to be. Was it Google Plus or something? I can't remember. And, everybody's associated. It's basically by recommended videos based on who subscribes to my channel and other people's channel. And if there's a lot of mutual subscribers, it brings the channels together, blah, blah, blah. So maybe it's based, this is an algorithm. Again, didn't watch the videos. According to Aiden Paladin, she said she read some work on this and she thought she had to do more information. So I don't want to completely quote her on this, but she said something to the effect of it was based on comments and people who subscribe to your channel. So we have mainstream news and Vox is there. So, I mean, at least they're saying that the mainstream news is left and partisan left. I don't even know what Missing Link Media is. Then we have partisan right, partisan left, anti-SJW, social justice, late night talk show, religious, conspiracy, libertarian, socialist, MRA, anti-theist, QAnon, and white identitarian. No, I don't know, no center here. Kind of weird, isn't it? It's almost like this guy, through his bias, doesn't believe people can actually be nonpartisan and center. Or what about people who just don't give a shit about politics, but they'll just talk about whatever they want when they want to? This is, first and foremost, a pop culture channel, because that's what I'm into, but I'm going to also talk about stuff. As a matter of fact, I have been flooded with requests for more videos on California. Probably because people just like seeing somebody crap on California. I mean, metaphorically, not literally, like I did in the beginning of this live stream. But yeah, I mean, sure, I've got another one in the works, and I've got some pop culture stuff. Hollywood is eating shit. We're going to talk about that too. There was something that happened yesterday. Why is my phone going off? Something that happened yesterday that was, did you hear a popping noise? Did you hear a popping noise? That was the Hollywood blockbuster bursting. Gone. Gone. And we'll get to that in a moment too. So we've got, and the reason you get people highlighted is it's based on their views. Now there's channels you'll see that are highlighted that don't have as much subs as others, but like right now, currently, this guy probably wouldn't have known who Josiah was, but Josiah, our good friend Josiah, is getting 100.17 million views in a very short period of time. And that's going to blow them up. And you got Salty Cracker right here. But if you just move it around a little bit, you'll start seeing more people here. And you know what? Some of these people are right. Brian Forrester. Brian Forrester. Some of you might not know who Brian Forrester is. Brian Forrester doesn't even talk about politics. He's into ancient civilizations. He does tours through Egypt, and he's part of the whole Graham Hancock kind of deal. They believe there was a pre-Diluvian civilization, a mother civilization that was wiped out from the earth, and that's his whole thesis. He also does a lot of elongated skull work because he's down in Paracas, Peru. The man's in Peru. He is a Canadian expat. He is not right. He is not partisan right. He's not anything. I don't think I've ever heard him say anything about politics, but I've heard him complain, rightly so, about like racism in other countries. But that's it. That's it. So that's utterly ridiculous, and that shows that this thing is full of shit. Some of the woo-woo people will know who Brian Forrester is. Some of you might not. We're going through. I don't know this person. But we're gonna go down. Adam Carolla. There we go. I mean, we know where our boy Jeremy lands. He's very open about who he's voting for. And you know what? How I vote in a presidential election, which is, I still think, kind of useless because I am an ex-felon, but I do vote, and it doesn't. I don't have a party. I don't belong to a party. I am a registered independent, and will remain that forever. There's no reason to go otherwise, in that I am free to vote who I want, and if I think it's the best human being for the job, that's who I'm going to vote for with what I'm given. That's interesting. I'm wondering if some of these channels have been moved now. This is partisan right I'm looking in here. Let's just go down to let's go. That's interesting. It was right and partisan right. Where's the right part? Did I miss it? Was it there before? I can't remember. But we'll go down here to anti-SJW. And we'll look there. It's a Gundam. It's a Gundam. It's a Gundam isn't right. Is he anti? He's anti-thought. He's anti-thought, and I can get behind that. I don't know. I never got the impression that he was a right winger. I think he's kind of it's a Gundam likes to laugh at the world burning. And you know what? You got to take your philosophy the way you do. I mean, it just helps you cope. I am a subscriber to It's a Gundam. I think it's a great channel. He's not political. I don't think it's a political position to be anti-thought. We're going to use the search function if I don't see anything. Yeah, there's that umbrella guy. That umbrella guy is he talks about Johnny Depp and talks about comics. Young Ripa, who's said that he is an anarchist of a type. Anti-SJW, yes. All right, so let's go to the search function. Makes it a lot easier. So if you go Nerdrotic, there I am. So I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me double check. You can't. Okay, yeah, you can. Good. So there is, and if we go to Just Some Guy. There he is. Just Some Guy is right and anti-SJW. Well, you know, I'm not arguing with the anti-SJW. And when of course we mean anti totalitarianism, forcing pronouns on people, constantly canceling people, constantly attacking people. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a label that they put on themselves, I don't think, but it's one they're proud of. And then they try to hide behind like, we're for equality and equal pay. No, you're not. Again, you know, just judge people by their actions, not what they fucking say online. And it's pretty easy to suss out. Suss out. That's right. I'm going to say it. Suss out. Did you hear what happened to Just Some Guy, by the way? I wonder if his video came back up. He did a video about, yeah, here it goes. He had to re-upload it. That sucks. So it's, dear fake Tolkien fans, no one cares. And he went over an article by somebody who had, you know, had a basic knowledge of Lord of the Rings, read The Hobbit once, just recently read the books, and decided that the entire fandom needed to change. She wrote an article called, I think it says something like, Tolkien fans, black people exist. Well, if you knew anything about Tolkien, I'm sure he knew that. But Lord of the Rings is basically a fake mythology written for the country of England because he felt England was robbed of their mythology in 1066. There's more to it than that. A lot more to it than that. Look into it. And it evolved over time, and I understand that. But yeah, Just Some Guy got screwed. So the woman who wrote that article nailed him on a privacy complaint, although her picture is in the article and it's all over the internet. But YouTube capitulated and pulled his damn video, which had like almost 200,000 views. And it was honestly one of the best videos he's ever done. You can find it on BitChute. I mean, yeah, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I love what he said. We've had him on Friday Night Tights a lot. He's a good dude. We'll have him on again. But he got screwed, and that is a bad precedent, by the way. So you can, if you're an author of an article, you can submit a privacy complaint, even though you blasted your picture all over the internet to we can't say 7 billion people. It's only half the people on the planet have the internet. So we'll say 4 billion, just to be comfortable. So yeah, then we have Clownfish. Total right-wing channel. All they're yammering about is immigration and taxes. Just constantly. Praising Rush Limbaugh all the time. That Clownfish TV. So let's see who else. I wonder if I wonder how thorough. He said how many channels? Okay, so here it is. YouTube is used by 71% of Americans and a source of news for 26% of U.S. adults. While the impact of YouTube continues to grow, options for understanding the content and ideas being shared on the platform are lacking. That is why we built Transparency Tube in creating a first of its kind effort. What kind of fucking effort did you put into this? To categorize, index, analyze over 8,000 of the largest English language YouTube channels actively discussing political and cultural issues. Okay. 2 separate things. We aim to provide the data necessary to better understand this space. I have an idea. Watch the fucking videos and decide for yourself. It doesn't take long. So basically you build an algorithm so I can prejudge somebody without actually putting work into it. Well, if that ain't fucking SJW, I don't know what is. Would you call, look, there is a category for center. There is a category. Maybe if I talk about DMT more. Dun, 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 dun. This is some bullshit. Geeks and gamers. Well, some of the Jeremy took his political views off that channel, and he really doesn't discuss them very much on his channel. He doesn't do live streams that much anymore, and he took them to D-Day Cobra, and it doesn't represent all the people who work there, which is a lot. Yeah, this is I think Tim's going right for sure, but he constantly says he's not. But I think he's probably a centrist to correct that. I think he's a centrist. I think right now he's voting for the person he thinks is best for the job. He's been pretty clear about that. I would call it getting older. You know, your views change based on what you do. Let's see what they said about my buddy Doomcock. Right. Doomcock repeats over. I mean, like even in the chat, because I brought up some stuff, people started getting like political. He doesn't like getting political on his channel at all, ever. And I can assure you, he's not right. I mean, he's right. Doomcock is right, but not right. You know what I'm saying? There's Jeremy from the Quartering. Yeah, Brian Forster being in there is utterly ridiculous. So where's Midnight's Edge, who just did a live stream and stated their politics, which weren't right, and they are right, anti-SJW. There was no work put into this at all. And do you expect any different? Political channel views 7 days to October 25th. Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. But what are going to be the consequences of this? That's the big question. Where they put Anna? Is she not in here? Nope. I wonder, wasn't she on here though? Maybe she got removed. What are the consequences? Well, I think we've already seen them. Personally, I think there was a little skullduggery going on with YouTube. I can't prove it. And it seems to have corrected itself. We'll find out. Find out when I put out a video. We'll see. But it definitely hit one of my videos hard, like pretty hard, and it affected Az pretty badly too. I don't know how much, like, what we can do about this, to be honest with you, other than see if it takes off or see if it's just the latest list that some guy wasted a bunch of time on and people forget about it. Maybe it'll end up like Quibi. Who knows? I know there are a couple channels out there rooting like hell for this because they're petty and jealous, which, I mean, again, I repeat, it's such a waste of time. Just focus on things you like instead of talking about other people all the time. I got a couple of messages to that effect. So we went over this Friday, and I'm pretty sure Anna was on here, and she's not anymore. That's good. I'm glad some people got off. It certainly looks like there's Mark Dice. Didn't I see? Hang on. Yeah, Jesse Milestone's on here. Oh, that's funny. Here we'll go. Nope, they're not on there. What is another channel I go to a lot? And now I'm blanking on it, but I'll think of some. And welcome everyone to the live stream, by the way. We still have some California news to talk about. Again, we'll see how things go. I'm doing a video on this. I have to do a little homework. And there is some of this guy's work is out there on the interwebs. He wrote a Medium article, an article for Medium, something. And I got to read the press release, and we'll do some digging on this clown. But it would suck to be his neighbor, because you know this. I mean, again, he's YouTube's Karen, so you know this clown is fucking looking over his fence and seeing if his neighbor's using too much water while watering his lawn. He's the guy who'll like measure the fucking distance from the tire and the curb to see if it's within 18 inches, or he'll call the tow truck. Your dog barks once, he's calling animal control. If your kids are outside, he's calling, freaking protective services. Yeah, he's peeking out his window. He knows what time you come and go. Little effing snitch. I just made an algorithm and falsely labeled a bunch of channels to make it easier for you to prejudge them and censor them. I'm trying to make the world a better place and protect my billionaire overlord masters. He's a little submissive. He's a gimp. Some people are just like that. And I don't mean to judge. I mean, honestly, if you're into that kind of thing, cool. Just don't let it affect other people. You can have your beliefs, but to present this as transparency, I love it when like Antifa calls themselves Antifa and then they act fascist, and then transparency shows no transparency and shows biased. Mikey Gusler for $5 says, Oscar Isaac is officially cast as Moon Knight for the Disney Plus series. Thoughts on the casting choice? Nerdrotic. Is there somebody else besides Oscar Isaac on the planet? I think it's decent cast as Mark Spector. Yeah, why not? I think it might be pretty good. I think he's a good actor. But it's going to be a Disney Plus series, and Moon Knight, in my opinion, can only really be good if it's rated R, if you did it like Daredevil. If it's on Disney Plus, it's going to be what? I don't know. You might as well make it animated at this point. Moon Knight's a damn good story if they tell it right. Mikey Gusler for $5 more. Kibblesmith calls for violence against New York police officer for saying Trump 2020. Thoughts on this Nerdrotic? Oh, I'm getting to that, buddy. I am getting to that. And by the way, it's Kibblesmith Day. Because guess what? Drops tomorrow. The new Warriors with Snowflake and Safe Space. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. My copy is on the way. I cannot wait. I love that little function because I sent it to San Francisco and I didn't realize it till last night. Changed the address and Amazon fucking handled it. And that shit's coming down to me. So, Mikey Gusler for $5 more. Why did MGM think any streaming service would want to buy No Time to Die for $600 million? No one seems to be excited for this film. Not even Bond fans, because it's going to be woke trash, and we are going to be talking about that. Oh, I'm hitting all these subjects today, baby. Last super chat. Anything you are looking forward to in entertainment this year? For me, it's just the Snyder and Ayer cuts. Well, this year, The Expanse. Thank you for the $5. The Expanse. I'm curious about The Mandalorian. As far as next year, the Snyder cut and the Ayer cut are the only thing I probably give a shit about at this point. I think everything else is going to be woke trash. I don't think those are because they've already been filmed. We'll see. If you don't think Zack Snyder has it in him, you ain't seen Sucker Punch. Crazy Cat Guy, thank you for the $1.49. Ice Cream and Keeper of Trackin', thank you for the Canadian $5 and saying good job. I appreciate you. So, yeah, we got a lot of subjects to hit. I could do a video on like each individual one of those. So I'm going to announce this thing now. Right now, Lady Grandmaster is out of commission for the week. One of her little bambinos is not feeling too well. So I gave her the week off, and we're going to let her focus on being a ma, and I will just self-produce, kind of like self-coupling, but self-produce. So I'm going to make this announcement now. It's not as ready as I would have liked it to be, but I am starting a third channel. It's going to be a clips channel. It's going to be clips from my live streams, clips from Friday Night Tights, and it's also going to be daily videos, sometimes multiple times. So it's I don't want to say lower tier. We'll say Tim Pool style. Something I could sit down, cut in 8 minutes, and go. My other videos, the ones that stay on the main channel, nothing's really changing on the main channel at all. I'm not shifting anything off or anything like that. It's just more on another channel. And keep an eye on Twitter, community section here, and I'll let you know when it's up and running. I'll probably have it up and running by Wednesday, and I can direct you if you want to subscribe there or not. It's completely up to you. But that's what we're going to do. And that channel will be freewheeling, though. It'll be pop culture. It'll be my views on things, be it politics or a UFO story or something. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be what it is. Thank you, Mikey Gusler, for all the super chats there. You're a good dude. Good dude, brother. And let's start with California, and then we'll work our way to Hollywood, shall we? And if you guys got questions on Transparency Tube, I'll get to those. I still feel like it's developing, right? I to be honest, my first instinct, again, was to not give a shit. Was like, fuck this dude. I'm not going to give him my time. But then people started talking about a lawsuit. And I'm like, maybe I am not worried enough about it. But it's kind of the same with Copa. Copa kind of turned out to be nothing for channels, except for the channels that talked about the kid stuff. I think the great demonetization of last year was far worse. And I think it's a little late for this, don't you? Like, if this guy would have pulled this out like a month ago or 2 months ago, but like this close to the election, we were all expecting a crazy year in 2020 on YouTube. I don't think we were quite expecting this crazy of a year but it's what we expected. We thought channels would get nuked. Some did, some didn't. There's still time. But quite frankly, when the election's over, I think YouTube is I don't think YouTube, if YouTube wanted to get rid of channels, they would. They would. And they don't have to, I mean, they can get rid of the quartering tomorrow. They can get rid of me tomorrow. They can get rid of Doomcock tomorrow. And a bunch of people would get upset. And then life would move on. People would still go on YouTube. I think there are channels. There's a couple channels that would it hurt YouTube? Maybe a little while. If they messed with Tim Pool, that would, I think, possibly hurt YouTube. They mess with PewDiePie, that would hurt YouTube. And there might be some other channels I haven't heard of, but if I disappear, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. I know some of you do, and thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go to California here, because California knows how to party. This one pissed me off yesterday. And of course, we want to preface it with, I don't want anyone to die. Okay? But 100% of all people die. And I hate to break out I'm going to badly paraphrase a Dumbledore quote for you. When he's in the netherworld with Harry, sorry, spoilers, Harry Potter dies for a little while in the Deathly Hallows, and he goes to he's at oh my God, why am I blanking? On the train station. And Dumbledore tells him, you basically don't worry about the dead. Worry about the living. Dead ain't got no problems. So we want to try to prevent that as much as possible. Absolutely. But this is now at the expense of the living. And I say this for me because I can hear some people, well, what if you get the coof tomorrow? And I croak? I ain't got no problems. But my kid does. Both my kids and my wife. And that would be the only thing on my mind while I'm croaking. Not always me. Well, I'd probably say it sucks to croak, but that's what I'd be worried about. And that's what we need to start worrying about. The problem is we have a dumb political society. The political class is filled with a bunch of dumbasses. You want to see a great example of a dumbass? Go and find Adam Carolla's interview of Gavin Newsom. I don't know why Gavin Newsom decided to go on his channel and have an interview. Maybe he thought he could match wits. And Gavin Newsom probably comes off as a real slick guy with nice hair. And he's a dude, bro. Dude. And there's nothing wrong with the dude, bro. I just don't want him running my state. So watch that interview. It's not, it doesn't make him look that great. When Gavin, kind of like a lot of politicians, has his little teleprompters up and he's at a press conference and he's not asked a follow-up question, no problem. But you saw my video. Somebody asked him about the Cal exit. And I'll put myself in his shoes. I'll say, I am a partisan Democrat. My party is first. I would still bring up the businesses. I would still try to show a little empathy. Like, I'm really sorry that a lot of people have lost their business because of the coup. And then I come out with some bullshit saying it's not our fault. And probably, no, nothing. He brings up a magazine article from 1994 trying to say that the Cal exit that's going on now is the same as it was in the early 90s. The early 90s, especially now looking back on it, that recession was fucking nothing. Was nothing. And that recession led to worse things. because they decided to deregulate the power industry, and it ended up like fucking blowing up in their faces and getting Gray Davis recalled. And then we got Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor, who tried to actually run the state as a centrist and got killed for it. Destroyed. Both parties just like freaking Caesared him. And then he just bent the knee. Kind of a sad situation because I was very proud to vote for Arnold twice. It was great. So remember when Jesse Ventura was the governor of Minnesota? What? And Jesse. What happened to Jesse Ventura? So where was I? Yeah. So we're governed by people who, I mean, they're just political class. They are academic class. London Breed worked in a political office, worked for Mayor Willie Brown, never worked in the private sector, doesn't know anything about it, and she's running the city. She got in because Mayor Ridley died, and then they reelected her. First black female mayor, and that's why she got elected. Black, because she was a black female. I mean, nobody really knew or care if she could actually run anything. And now the LA Times is saying her city, I knew they would. Sure, if you just lock everybody up, it'll get better. Yeah, I guess that worked for China. I'm surprised London didn't break out the lead doors and lock everybody in. Sure, that is a way to make it work and maybe save a couple of lives while you're, I don't know, killing a few other people. But it's not from the coof, remember? Now, there's one paragraph in here, but they try to base this on experts said this. Well, experts are partisan. I think we all understand that now. There could be a really smart doctor who's effing partisan. And of course, a doctor at San Francisco General or whatever, I doubt he's going to go, well, this sucks because the hospitals weren't filled. And let me also make something clear. There's a coof out there. No doubt there's a coof. And it's killed people, and we don't want people to die again. But I'm worried about the living. That's what I'm concerned about. And now we are seriously reaching a point of no return on certain things. Don't want to frighten anybody, but it's up to us to stop this. And we need to remind our politicians that they are fully accountable. I know this is funny. I can't even say it with a fucking straight face, but they are fully accountable to us and not just on one thing. They're hyper-focusing on the coof. And really not, and they're like, let the chips fall where they may. And that was London Breed's approach. I don't know the science of about why San Francisco had lower numbers. Are there different strains? Don't know. I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. Is it based on the health of the people? Is it the fact that San Francisco is a pretty windy place? I have no idea. I am not a scientist. All I know is 54% of the businesses closed. All I know is 42% the burglaries have spiked. All I know is the general populace has lost the respect for the police. And the system is affected. It's a different place. That's why people booked when they got out of there. Because the last place you want to be during unrest is a city that isn't going to do anything about it. We all knew, even the ones who supported London Breed, who are quietly not supporting her anymore because they still want to look good on Facebook, but behind closed doors, they can't stand her and they feel betrayed. Much of San Francisco looked like a ghost town during late April, but all essential services were closed. Few roamed the streets. The mood seemed grim as the gray skies overhead. They're talking about downtown. After April, People were going outside, driving around their cars, going on jogs and stuff. I saw it. Now life has returned. Restaurants and stores are open, clad in masks, limited capacity. Pedestrians last week clutched bags from stores where they had just shopped. Diners sat at tables outside restaurants and cafes. At outside restaurants and cafes that's not open. People strolled along the bay on the Embarcadero, and a huge Ferris wheel opened for business at Golden Gate Park. After cautiously approaching the COOF for months with a go slow attitude towards reopening that they knew would crush business, and it's something I feel like they wanted to invite. San Francisco has become the first urban center in California to enter the least restrictive tier for reopening. Risk of infection, of course, Gavin Newsom, former mayor of San Francisco. London Breed, mayor of San Francisco. No connection. According to the state's color-coded tiers is considered minimal, even though San Francisco is the second densest city in the country after New York. Again, limited capacity. These places are not open. And I also want to bring up consequences here. Give me just a moment. This is just one example. Go to my bookmarks. This was supposed to go in my Cal exit video, and it didn't. Made the cutting room floor. Hit the cutting room floor, I mean. And we're going to talk about this article now. Once I find it. Here it goes. This is sad. This is not happy news. Woman dies after car crashes into Bay Area outdoor dining area. Would she have died if she was dining inside? This is again, it's a sad story. Old man got confused, hit the wrong pedal, went into 8 people at a restaurant. Sitting outside where they probably didn't need to sit outside, in my opinion. And this is just one example. Again, cause and effect, cause and effect. And I'm not saying I got the answers for everything. I'm just saying San Francisco could have opened up months ago. But rioting and looting happened, which they allowed. They even tried to say, they being the mainstream media and others, that it was perfectly safe for people to do that, yet they closed all the businesses down. That was political. Why is Google? See, Google's listening to me right now. So I don't know if I'm being too political or right by just saying I want businesses open. I want people to have a future, and I want it done safely. And I think we can do all of these things. Look at all the shit this country has done. And unfortunately, this happened during an election season, and everybody decided to play partisan. And a lot of people have lost their jobs. Some people have lost their lives. And people love to change their story and cover their ass. And that's what's been on full display to all of us. By the way, Nancy Pelosi is running for another term. Just so you know, she wants to run for another term. I don't know if that'll make it. But if we go back here, we have at least so far done everything right, said Dr. Robert Watcher, professor and chair of the Department of Medicine at UC San Francisco. City officials are not declaring victory. Characteristically, they warn the virus will lurk around the corner as they have before. They will follow local metrics rather than reopen just because the state allows it. Well, it's going to get locked down again. And that's part of the reason we left. We knew it was going to be open, close, open, close. Yeah. So my wife could have opened her salon now, had to re-sign another 5-year lease, by the way, which factored in. We were at the end of our lease. We had to re-sign another one for 5 years. And we're like, no, No. And limited capacity. So you know what they say why they did everything right? Experts credit San Francisco's success to the long partnership between public health officials and universities, most notably during the AIDS crisis. Yeah, that's right. Because they have everything to do with each other. So they talk about how awesome they are. All they did was keep things closed, by the way. They didn't do anything special. They're saying, well, and then London Breed left it to the health department to make these announcements so she wouldn't look bad. And we'll just go to this one. This goes on and on about how awesome, and like they straight up say it. If the country had done what San Francisco had done, only 50,000 people would have died. Oh, by the way, it was helped by the San Francisco police, the ones they wanted to defund. Where do they even bring it up here? Sorry. Okay, yeah, here it is. Here's your one, because they had to put it in. To be sure, San Francisco has not emerged unscathed. Thousands, not hundreds, thousands. When you go over 1,000, it's thousands of businesses have closed permanently. Public schools have yet to reopen, and that city faces a huge budget deficit. Many residents moved away during the pandemic. And that deficit, they are not going to recover from. You lose half your business, that's half your taxes. Then you have people moving, selling houses. That's property tax that they jacked up to an unbelievable level the last couple of years because we were in a good economy. So they got all proud of themselves, started doling out free college. And oh, by the way, young people are not going to be able to afford this city, even at its reduced rates. Remember, the median rent has fallen in San Francisco from $3,200 to $26 for like a studio. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell my house. Have no fucking idea. I might be stuck with it. We'll see. We'll find out soon. I'm not going to, I can't see myself renting it. The renting rules in San Francisco are ridiculous. They tried, I don't know if they did pass it. They tried to pass a relocation fee where the landlord has to pay for the relocation if you decide to sell if you give the renter plenty of notice, you say, I'm going to sell my house. So you got to find another place to live. You have to pay their relocation fee. Now, if, there's like, if the landlord says you're out in a month, I'm selling your house, that's fucking dick move. That's an absolute dick move. I'm not for that. But, yeah, so much regulation here. So, yeah, they said here, let me just search that so we get that. There it goes. Right there. Of the 20 most populous cities in the U.S., San Francisco has the lowest death rate. Yeah, I remember saying that in both my videos, per capita. If the entire country had followed the city's approach, Watcher said, there would be 50,000 dead from the coup instead of more than 220. So that, I mean, and this thing was trending on Twitter, and they highlighted that quote as an expert, as one expert. Now, I have no idea what that number would be. We have no idea if that would have even worked or not, because it's here. It's an absolute. It's not going anywhere. And again, worry about the living, which are going to have a big problem here in this country and in this state in particular. The state is not immune just because it's got big corporations that bring in big tax money. They also get, they're in everybody's pocket here. And listen, I've always been a proponent of the state breaking up. I know it's ridiculous, but I've dug that one since I was a kid. I think it would make a lot more sense. It's too big. And you got somebody like Gavin Newsom, who was a San Francisco politician, which, I mean, doesn't apply down here where I am. If San Diego was not in California, I'd stay. It's still really expensive, though. And the politics are ridiculous. I have no idea what we're doing for Halloween. I don't know if we're going to get trick-or-treaters or not. But you see something like that after, yeah, we lost some businesses. Like it's no big deal. Like you could just do that again. San Francisco used to have this bustling downtown, and it's kind of dead now. And it wasn't like, in the early 2000s it was bustling. It looked like a mini New York. And there were still people down there, but it wasn't as crazy. It's not as crazy now because Twitter's down there. They're subleasing their building, by the way. They're not bringing people back to work. So that's more people not coming into San Francisco and buying a lunch or buying some clothes if they need them on the way home or some groceries. They're working from home. So I believe the number was 1 million people came into San Francisco every day to work. 1 million. The city doubled in size. That's not happening anymore. You don't think that's going to affect the economy either? See, London has been propped up, by PPP money, federal money. She doesn't give a shit about small businesses anyway. She's never shown anything about them. She just goes, yeah, watch a press conference. Got to be careful what I say. London. Up jump secretary. So what they did was they made the very easy decision. We'll just keep everybody closed. We'll say we're awesome because we saved some lives, which you can never really say. You have no idea of proving it or disproving it. So it's going to look good. The mainstream media is going to echo that because that is their party. That's who they want. And they're going to put a fucking paragraph saying, yeah, we lost some businesses. Aw, shucks. We ruined some lives by maybe not taking, because we don't want to take the risk. And then not bring up the crime. The crime. 42% burglaries have gone up. Car break-ins is like astronomical. It's something like 7%. The burglars who cannot prey on tourists anymore have turned to the suburbs. And they are coordinating home invasions like on each sides of the bay. And they're pistol whipping people. They're getting violent as hell. And that's not accounting the attacks on the street. Again, police are not prosecuting a lot of this shit. If your car gets broken into, you have to file a report online. Every San Francisco has a story of being assaulted or seeing an assault or having their car broken into multiple times. I bet you there's some of you out there who've never had your car broken into, never had your house broken into. My apartment was broken into the first day I moved to San Francisco. That's right. First day I moved there. Hot prowl. 5 of us were in the house sleeping. Somebody snuck in because the landlord was cheap, put on shitty locks. They can open our doors with credit cards. They went right in, stole Mrs. Nerdrotic's purse, my backpack with my camera, book full of CDs, as early 2000s of my sketchbook since I was 15. My friend's backpack, who was just there visiting me for a day. And yeah, car broken into multiple times, had a knife pulled on me. I mean, it's like that's normal. I lived here in San Diego, and aside from the trouble I was getting into, we'll say as an adult, since I got out of the joint, like nothing happened. Nothing. It's quiet. Yeah, I think a lot of, you get some Stockholm syndrome with people who live in cities. They're like, I like the hustle and bustle. It's just crime. It's normal. Yeah, a guy got shot down the street from my house. There's people who live in places where that never happens. Like if somebody got shot, that would be shocking. And they're not all rich neighborhoods. They're actually very middle class, quiet neighborhoods. But you're the enemy now. We are the enemy now. I mean, they've taken the battle right to us. Right to us. But as usual, I would never tell you how to vote on this channel. All are welcome at this channel. We just try to practice common sense. I'll give you my views. You may agree, you may disagree. And we won't always talk about California, and we won't always talk about Star Wars. But I am not overtly, I'm not going to bring you news every day. If it affects us or it's strange or something, fine, I'll talk about it. I don't want to restrict myself, but I'm not going to get crazy with this stuff. Plus, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not an economist, obviously, so I can't. I know I pay too much in taxes. I don't know where my tax money goes. I know there's a lot of redundancies in government, a lot of programs that if you go, I mean, there's probably 20 programs for the same thing. How many homelessness programs do we have? Somebody's probably got that number somewhere. Well, none of them are doing any fucking good. And instead of getting rid of the ones that don't work and trying to actually make something that works, they just add another one. One of the things I did in the pen was I worked in procurement. My job was procurement because I knew how to type. So I wrote up drug orders for the prison every day. All these ridiculous drug names. But I also saw how much the prison was paying for drugs. And it was in the tens of thousands a day. And this was in 1994 for one of the two prisons. So you're going to say hundreds of thousands every day, or what we'll say Monday through Friday was being spent on overpriced drugs, by the way, like insane amounts. And this was in the 90s. Think about what you're paying now. Norwegian Kryptonian for 33 Norwegian krona. Is Doc Brown the Time Lord? Shine on. Is Doc Brown a Time Lord? I would like that. That would be cool. That would be very cool. You shine on, sir. Justin Foster for 20 Canadian pesos. The only being capable of saving Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, etc. is God's mistake. God's mistake is the Messiah of the fandom menace and will lead us to the Holy Land of non-woke content. All hail. Do you all want to see God's mistake? I meant to retweet that and I didn't. I don't know if I can pull it up. Here, I'll pull it up on let's see. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, sure we can. We'll do it this way. I'll show you God's mistake. It was based, there's a drawing game we were doing on EFAP. And I drew this character. And somebody, I can't show you the original, unfortunately. But here's God's mistake. That's God's mistake. So we're doing a drawing game with Mahler. Hi, wait. There you go. There's my hand. And I drew a little picture of a hand coming out of a head with two legs as socks, and this is God's mistake. That is my design. Very proud of it. But somebody drew this while we were on the live stream. It was insane. That is a shit of nightmares right there. God's mistake. Somebody better put that down. Butterbiscuit92 for $2. How was Friday Night Tights? Hope all is well. Friday Night Tights was great. Friday Night Tights was fantastic. Loved it. We had Kurt Metzger on. Go watch that episode if you didn't want to see it. It was, or if you missed it, it was a good episode, I thought. We're gonna have EBS on this Friday. Oscar Isaac just got cast as Moon Knight. Says Venom Snake for $2.99 Australian. That's exciting. I think it's good. I just ask again, is there anybody else who works for Disney besides Oscar Isaac? Not sure. Hang on a second, folks. I don't know. What do you think? I'm not against that at all. That doesn't, I think he's a decent actor when he's given a good script and he's not in Star Wars. Hang on. I just want to, oh, stop. Always got to make sure we're not getting ghosted here, especially with what I was talking about. Good. We're not. Excellent. Okay. Before we get back into the super chats, we got to talk about a little bit of Hollywood. Actually, you know what? It's funny is Mikey Gussler's first 5 super chats are kind of like a good thing to start talking about. Let's talk about Kibblesmith. Let's talk about Kibblesmith talking about the cops. Here we go. This fucking dweeb. Daniel Kibblesmith. Marvel's New Warriors writer Daniel Kibblesmith insinuates New York police officer is a racist for saying Trump 2020 threatens violence. Let's read it. Let's find out what he says the creator of Snowflake and Safe Space, Marvel Comics New Warriors writer Daniel Kibblesmith insinuated a New York police officer who stated Trump 2020, stated Trump 2020 using his vehicle speakers is racist. On October 25th, the official New York Police Department news Twitter responded to a video showing a police officer stating Trump 2020 on his vehicle speaker. They wrote, "We are aware of this video and it's under investigation by our Brooklyn South investigative unit. Police officers must remain apolitical." Okay. NYPD officer in Flashbook allegedly says Trump 2020 over the speaker. Okay, let's listen.
Do it again. What, you can't say Trump 2020 now? You fucking pussy. Say it again.
Trump 2020.
Go fuck yourself, you fucking fascist.
Wow. Go F yourself, you effing fascist. Okay, so just a reminder, if you lived in a fascist country, you would have gotten the shit kicked out of you right there. And you would have never, ever been seen again. Just to remind all you Antifa mensas out there running around, if you were out there rioting and looting in a fascist country, you would be disappeared. Basically, just like the country you want. When the country gets the way you want, it's what you're going to be doing to people. That's what would be done to you if you were in a fascist country. See how that works? New York City Police Commissioner Dermot F. Shea would respond to the above tweet writing 100% unacceptable, period. Really? Fucking, why would you want to be a cop right now? Law enforcement must remain apolitical. It is essential to our role to serve all New Yorkers regardless of any political beliefs. Well, I think you can still do that. I think cops should remain apolitical and be apolitical. I still think you can be. The guy just popped off. The thing is, if the guy said Biden 2020, I don't think they would have complained. It is essential for New Yorkers to trust their police. Well, it's hard to trust their police when they're being defunded and called out and constantly listen. And yeah, there's shitty cops. We need to take care of shitty cops. That's one of those things like, everybody's against shitty cops and racism. But when you're going out looking for trouble, looking for shit, like a lot of the, like that dude wanted something for his fucking Twitter. I mean, that's part of the problem too. That tells you how good this country is. That dweeb felt so safe to call that cop that, and he knew nothing would happen to him. But what if the cop got out and decided, like, fuck this job, I'm going to fuck this dude up? How do you think he would have sounded? Do you think he would have been all, F you, fascist? No. He'd have been crying for his mama. Should be grateful. You should be grateful they show restraint. So where's Kibblesmith, though? I want to get to Kibblesmith. Here we go. Okay. New York Police Commissioner Dermot Shea, law enforcement, essential and workers. Okay, we read that part. She followed up with a subsequent tweet writing, the police officer from the incident has been identified and suspended without pay. He then added, to repeat, law enforcement must remain apolitical. Okay, yeah, we already got all that. All right, so that's when Marvel Comics writer Daniel Kibblesmith would get involved, insinuating the officer in question is racist. He wrote, I can't remember the last time I heard about anyone with any degree of power in law enforcement or politics getting straight up fired. The Loki writer added, it's always like Officer Racist has been placed in partial salary sadness probation until he finishes watching American X History on DVD. Kibblesmith followed up by demanding the officer be fired. He wrote, normalizing firing people who have to power to destroy lives. Normalize firing people who have the power to destroy lives. Huh. Really? Because some of your coworkers have destroyed lives, would you fire them? Oh my God, this guy is so fucking beta. Then in his response to fellow comic book writer Kurt Busiek, he would threaten physical violence in order for the officer to be fired. Okay, fucking like Kibblesmith. If Kibblesmith hits somebody, it would be like the wind changed direction. Come on. Busiek wrote, it takes a while because of union rules. It's not that often that they actually can just up and fire someone without a lengthy process. This needs fixing. I'm all for unions, but police unions seem to be about enforcing a lack of accountability. Kibblesmith wrote, would it help if I came in with my hands wrapped in bandages, gently tapping a baseball bat against my opposite palm? Oh my God, do it, Daniel, please. Wrap your little dainty fucking soft hands in bandages and carry a baseball bat. Oh my God, please. Is this the guy? Remember in Millionaire Matchmaker, there's video of him. Like a woman wants to go hug him and he goes, yeah, this guy. He's going to come with a baseball bat and get fucking crazy on your ass. Daniel Kibblesmith, motherfucker. He's hard. Would it help if I came in? Oh, fucking. I'm going to get a baseball bat. Just like Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn's got a baseball bat. She's my favorite. She's my favorite Marvel superhero. Oh, wait. DC? Marvel? Kibblesmith is no stranger to attacking his political opponents as racist. Just a couple of days ago, he referred to the president as racist. He wrote on Twitter, "This time in 2016, Hillary was polling 1 billion%, and Republicans were talking openly about trying to throw Trump overboard and put Pence at the top of the ticket. Then that racist, illiterate motherfucker cleaned our clocks and ate the cake shaped like his own head." Yeah, that's what happened, dude. Because you might not like him or agree with him. Pretty sure he's, I don't think Trump is illiterate. But after reading some of your work, that's hilarious. In August, he attacked Megyn Kelly as a racist and wrote, "My working theory is that when your pivot to mainstream flames out this hard, you have to go MAGA ultra racist for your old bosses to take you back." Crazy how if Trump loses, all his insanely vocal racist supporters will suddenly vanish and everything will be fine forever. Yeah. This comes out tomorrow, by the way. I will be reviewing it. Christ, I think this will be my first comic review on this channel. I meant to do that a long time ago. I might have to even it out with something better. But he's only listed as a contributor on this, not as the writer. So I'm wondering, did they get rid of all his shit? I don't know. Tell you what, Daniel. Go get a baseball bat. See what happens. Daniela. Oh, boy. People can get so motherfucking hard on Twitter, can't they? I'm looking forward to Snowflake and Safe Space. I have to say, you know what? I'm wondering if it's even going to be that cringe. We'll find out. It might be a much ado about a nada. And it was never about the book itself. If you watch my videos, it was about the sentiment. The reason they put those characters in the comic books was to flip you off. So, I mean, honestly, it's something I've been dealing with on a personal level on Twitter. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. Mean things said about me on Twitter does not bother me. Showing up on like Transparency Tube, does it like deeply bother me? Do I lose sleep? No, I actually don't. I don't care what some dude in Australia thinks. So people keep adding me with Star Trek stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. But with Kibblesmith, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. Motherfuck. Getting old sucks. But yeah, okay. So with the new Warriors and what Kibblesmith did with the whole sentiment of it is telling you to fuck off. It's not just a bad comic book, and it's not like You Brought Me the Ocean, which was awful. We covered that one a little bit on Yellow Flash's channel, and we will be roasting it on Yellow Flash's channel as well, the new Warriors, if it's worth roasting, to be honest with you. And I think your boy Zach is going to be joining us, which should be fun. Here we go. Okay. Oscar Isaacs just got cast for Moon Knight, says Venom Snake for $2.99. Yes, he did. And I read that one. Phantom Guard for $4.99. Hey, Gary, just got my job back at the company that I used to work at Super Happy Today. Also got banned for 3 days on eBay. How'd you get banned on eBay? What'd you do? Did you get salty? Get banned off Twitter. Don't get banned off eBay, Fandom Guard. That would actually hurt. Hail, Gary. Happy 300,000 subscribers today. We celebrate happiness and joy. Thank you, Phoenix Tangent, for $5. Yeah, I was kind of hoping to do a celebration, and it would be just a chill stream, but too much news. I don't know. But thank you. Thank you. I'll give you the little origin story in a little bit. Nicholas Horton for £5. I see your power has returned, Gary, and congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. That's right. Last night at 10 p.m., the power outage that was supposed to happen in September happened in October, and the power just went off, and I had to leave the show. Brogla for £5. Hey, from Ireland, really appreciate an entertainment, media, and pop culture channel that tells it how it is. Thank you for the content. You are welcome, Brogla. I appreciate it. Hail, Ireland. Between me and prison, as one of us is going to die, says Flicks by Cody. One of us has to die, Flicks by Cody. Well, maybe. We'll find out in part 3. Gunnar Renee Oi for 50 Norwegian krona. Garbage is garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. The best kind of machine learning research, apparently. Yeah, exactly. Fuck. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just going to get worse until we fight back. Does there need to be some kind of antitrust thing? Yes. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Google, Alphabet's a big fucking company. It's a big company. And that's going to create big problems. So we'll see. Is every election going to be like this now? I don't know. I think each party needs to denounce its fringe, but right now, the one fringe that is consistently causing trouble is Antifa. They are out there blocking roads. They're out there yelling at cops and trying to fucking gaslight cops and shit. You can protest and be against them and not like them. It's not like, I was ever their biggest fan, but I'm not going to go up to him and go, F you. I'm not going to go to a guy with a gun and start shit. I know it's one of those life lessons. One of these days, though, they're going to do it to the wrong dude. Hey, Gary, sophomore in college, right? By the way, what happened to that guy in Colorado who blew that guy's head? Like, you don't hear about that anymore. What if it was the other way around? That guy would be on the corner of every news channel, like constantly with a little ticker telling you like what he ate for breakfast. Reagan Diver for $10. Hey, Gary, sophomore in college right now. Everyone pretends to be woke to fit in. Every professor is a washed up flower child. Everything's closed virtual. Your videos help pass the time. Keep it up. Cheers. Fight the power. Don't give in. Keep an open mind. Don't give in to the indoctrination. Learn something by all means. But it is possible to not believe every word some tweed coat wearing with fucking messy hair, some guy who like just wants the 60s to be for fucking ever. They have a skewed point of view. They do. Tim Pool says the elites are gunning for a social reset. Your thoughts? Metalhead 10,000 for $10. Yes. Absolutely. I'm not going to go as far as to say all this was caused for that, but as Rahm Emanuel said, you don't let a good crisis go to waste. And they absolutely are going to take this opportunity to take away some of your freedoms because you don't deserve them because you voted for who you wanted to. And that cannot be allowed anymore. Not in a free country. The Invisible Man for $5. Have you heard In Deep Geek really look at Lord of the Rings commentary? Also, more Miracle Man talk. Love everything you do. Sure. Absolutely. Thank you. I have not, but I'll check it out. CW has revealed the new Batwoman costume, the Afro hairstyle. What the fuck, says Nicholas Horton for £5. I saw that picture. Let's look at it real quick. I think Az did. Oz posted it up there, didn't he? There it is. There we go. Yeah, there we go. We got Batgirl. Well, she looks really excited to be there. I'll say this. Oh, is that picture still there? Why is that picture still there? Hang on. Why do I have oh shit. Un momento. That's better. Okay. So Batgirl, I'll say this. At least she looks like she could take a punch. She looks like she could take a punch. If you hit Ruby Rose, I mean, you're going to shatter her. She was like a little porcelain stick. This one looks like she could, but yeah. So, we got Black Woman there. Okay. I'll say this. She's hotter than Ruby Rose. I'm going to objectify her a little bit. In this costume, though, no, this costume isn't right for her. We'll see, though. The fucking just the effort put into this show is hilarious. It's so low effort. Oh my God. And she's going to be, and I saw Az's review, the last Batgirl comic has fucking Barbara Gordon going Antifa. Barbara Gordon going Antifa. These people are fucking insane. The comic industry is dead. You notice I haven't talked about it because like it's uneventful. It's nothing. And you got idiots like Rich Johnson. Everything's fine. Oh, really? Oh, really? DC just got rid of their another distributor. And guess what they just cut out selling comics to? Comic clubs, and eBay stores. And then you're going to find out how many actual comic stores there are because they have been conflating that number with shops forever. And I guess we're about to find out that there's 1,000 comic stores in the country and not 2,000. That is a number I have been dying to find out. Diamond always kept it from us. They would never tell us. They say, well, there's 3,000 comic stores. How many of them are online outlets? How many of them are comic clubs? There's 3,000 comic stores. There's not 3,000 comic stores. So, yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, Batgirl. I'm looking forward to the EFAP reviews. Maybe I'll review it. I reviewed the last one, the first few episodes. I'll review this one. Why the fuck not? Why not? Casino, Culture Casino, thank you for the $1.49 phallic unicorn. I appreciate it. Crazy Pineapple for $5. Congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. I'm 5 years removed from the Bay Area. No regrets and grateful every single day. Hail. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't wait to get out. Getting out of San Francisco was great. The big California sign that you see when you're on the 80, when it's coming down through, when you go hit the 101, or you're coming out, they're taking it down. It's been up for since 1937, and Coca-Cola doesn't want to pay the rent anymore. Did y'all know that? By the way, the website I'm about to show you on, one Best of the Bay. That's right, my comic shop. This right-wing anti-SJW won Best of the Bay in 2009 for best comic shop in the Bay Area. That's right. Say goodbye.
The sign, by the way, as far as like billboards go, this thing was awesome. And it was an icon there. And it's been there since 1937. But Coca-Cola doesn't want to pay the rent anymore because San Francisco's falling apart. The Coca-Cola billboard, a beacon for travelers in San Francisco since 1937, will soon disappear from the South of Market cityscape. A work permit dated Monday, October 26th, for removal of the sign and its support structure at 5th and Bryant Streets was issued by the city. Crews erected a scaffolding for the job. Erecting. It's official. The Coca-Cola sign at the corner of 5th and Bryant Street is coming down. Coca-Cola no longer wants to pay the rent for the rooftop. So another iconic San Francisco fuck ads landmark is coming down. Change is constant, but this is one I am going to miss. The sign has been there since 1937. Hoodlums have also recently graffitied the building, and there are homeless encampments under the freeway and along 5th Streets. The scaffolding was installed today, and they started taking down the sign on Monday. This is going to be a big job that will block 1 or 2 lanes on Bryant Street by the freeway ramp. Can I click any of this? I can't click any of this. Screw that. So, yeah. That's it. That's it for another San Francisco icon. And then we got to talk about this, too. We need to talk about this. What's that? Oh, that's asshole for Medium. Yeah, okay. This is it. I'll read some super chats and we'll get into this article. Thank you, Crazy Pineapple. Thank you, Culture Casino. Damajanai, what's up? What's up, brother? I met Damajanai in New York. He rides motorcycles. He's pretty cool. Very nice man. Very cool dude. Part of the Dark Council. Hail the Dark Council. Yo, bro, yeah, that new site is trash. Are you on it? Did they put you on it anywhere? I hope not, man. Because I know, Damaj, I know you're such a right-winger. Just kidding. Check out the Dark Council. It is, I will, next time they go live, I'll put it on Twitter, but follow Damajanai. It's Dmajanini. It took me about a year to say his name right. It's a great channel. Good guy. Modalicious for $2. I just discovered Longmire. Gunsmoke plus CSI. Yeah, Mrs. Nerdrotic loves that show. And it's got Katie Sackhoff. I have not watched it. Christy Ricardo for £2. Keep doing what you're doing, Gary. Oh, I plan to, unless Mama Susan pulls the plug, pops the zit, whatever you want to say. I'm going to stay here as long as you guys will have me. As long as you guys will have me. But yeah, Nerdrotic clip channel. I don't have a name for it yet. But it's probably going to be Nerdrotic Daily. And I'll show you guys the new logo real quick. Let's go here. See, one of these days, we're going to get the producer trained up to be like, so I don't have to pull up anything and I can just go, boom, it'll be ready. That's something I want to be able to do. That's not going to happen anytime soon, though. Just so you know. There you go. That's what it looks like. That is the new channel. All right. James Bond film No Time to Die explored $600 million sale to streaming services. Okay. So there's some contradiction going on in this article. And I've recorded a video for this, and I don't know if I'm going to put it on the main channel or somewhere else because I want to put my transparency video up first. Or maybe I'll just do both. It's been a long time since I dropped 2 videos in one day. Maybe it'll happen. I think I've only put up 3 videos this month, so I need to at least do 5. So you're going to get a couple no matter what by the end of the week. Again, EVS, Friday Night Tights, costumes. It's the day before my wedding anniversary. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Maybe we'll bring on Mrs. Nerdrotic for a little bit. Variety is reporting this. So this isn't some bullshit rumor. They wanted to sell Bond to a streaming service. And you know what the streaming service did? They laughed. Does that sound familiar? Well, it should. You want to know why it should sound familiar? Because somebody laughed when they were asked if they were going to buy movie theaters. Remember that? I'm sure you do. That's right. Warner Brothers and Universal bosses say no to movie theater buyouts in the works. But we're rooting for you. Donna Langley, chairman of Universal Filmed Entertainment Group, and Ann Sarnoff, chairman and CEO of Warner Brothers, and this had the same reaction Thursday when asked if their companies would had any interest in buying movie theaters. They laughed. They laughed. And then the streaming services laughed. So let's go down the chain of events. Some movie theaters have been open this whole fucking time. They've had blockbusters. They could have released them in some of the open movie theaters. Hollywood, this is all Hollywood, by the way, could have made some money. They wouldn't have made all their money back, but they would have made some money. Hollywood decided to delay all those blockbusters because they knew you and I, the American hardworking taxpayer, would cover their ass. And now it looks like they were just hedging their motherfucking bets. They were going to abandon the theaters anyway. And they just wanted you and I to cover the 365 days plus the theaters will be closed so they can maximize their profits, talk shit about this country, push a bunch of woke fucking bullshit out there, get fucking naked and tell us how to fucking vote, root on all the divisiveness and the rioting and the looting from their mansions that they feel imprisoned in. And they were going to fucking abandon the movie theaters anyway. That was the pop you heard. The blockbuster bubble has burst. And I honestly don't know why Robert Meyer Burnett didn't bring this up. Maybe because he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't see it this way. But I do. The blockbuster just got devalued overnight with one rumor. I don't know if Hollywood, I mean, like, these are really, they got to be smart people. They deal with more money than I'll ever see in my lifetime in just one day. I mean, fucking Hollywood producers snorting coke, what I'll make in my lifetime. But they can't think 2 fucking steps ahead. Now they'll go, this is bullshit. And listen, I'm just a fucking idiot who's been kicked out of 3 high schools. But a blockbuster's value is based on its potential to make money in a movie theater. If the movie theaters don't exist, then it's not a potential billion-dollar movie anymore. You want to know why? Because streaming services don't release numbers. We don't know what's a hit or not. We take their word for it. I think we can figure it out. Like Stranger Things is a hit because your friends will talk about it. You hear other people talking about it. Star Trek Discovery isn't a fucking hit because outside of a few idiots on Twitter, I'm sorry, people with bad taste, nobody talks about it. You don't run into somebody going, did you see Michael Burnham last night? She was amazing. No, nobody does that. Nobody fucking does that. So the value was in its potential. What we value it as. What you can make internationally by releasing it in movie theaters. Well, best case scenario at this point is only 2/3 of the movie theaters existing right now are gonna make it. I think I'm being generous, but we'll say 2/3. We're gonna lose 1/3 of the movie theaters around the world. By the way, Italy's shutting down today, their movie theaters. So if like Apple or Netflix bought Bond for $600 million, that would be very good news for Hollywood. Then there was value in their blockbuster, and we could maybe use that as an option and maybe shift over to streaming, and maybe we can continue making these really bloated fucking movies and fill them with a bunch of woke bullshit, and people will just watch them. By the way, this isn't going to keep things from getting woke. This might actually be worse news. See, by releasing a movie in a theater, they are forced to see the numbers, and we are still in control. If they sell shit to streaming services, they can hide shit all day long, say it's fucking popular, and make the wokest shit they want to make. At least we still had a little control with our wallets. I mean, we still do with streaming, but everything's like a big old pot. It's done differently. So, Apple, Netflix, and other streaming services explored the possibility of acquiring No Time to Die. Okay, were they exploring the possibility, or was it No Time to Die explored $600 million sale to streaming services? Because those contradict each other, don't they? They do. The upcoming James Bond movie was originally slated to debut last April. The film's release has been postponed multiple times, with the Daniel Craig vehicle moving back to November before being pushed into 2021 as the number of COOF cases crept up. The MGM studio behind the film reportedly lost between 30 and 50 million due to the delays. So they've lost $50 million, we'll say, already on a film that cost them $250 million. So they're already in the hole, $50 million. Insiders said Bloomberg first reported the discussions, which have been the topic du jour in Hollywood this week. Other studies, such as Paramount and Sony, have raked in tens of millions by selling movies like Greyhound, Coming to America, and Without Remorse to streaming services, while the exhibition sector continues to struggle during the COOF. We do not comment on rumors. The film is not for sale. The film release has been postponed until April 2021 in order to preserve the theatrical experience for moviegoers, an MGM spokesman told Variety. However, multiple insiders at a rival studio and companies said that a possible Bond sale was explored overtly by MGM, and believe that MGM was at least open to the possibility of unloading their crown jewel for a princely sum. The studio was said to be looking for a deal of roughly $600 million, a price tag that was deemed too rich for two of the free spending streaming services. A sale of this magnitude would have okay. So there's a lot of problems. We're not going to read the rest. There's product placement. There's all kind of shit going on. They thought they can do it because they sold Coming to America and some of the smaller movies, and then certainly you can't do that. But as far as blockbusters, that's your test, and it just failed. James Bond, No Time to Die is no longer a potential $600 million movie. Just like that, the value is gone. And there goes your blockbuster. So do you think Hollywood is going to want to make $250 million movies anymore when there is no chance in hell they can get their money back? The answer is no, obviously. And this should have a lot of people in Hollywood worried. And this should, I know nobody out here is worried for Hollywood. I don't think we're feeling too sad for Hollywood right now. It's unclear if producers Barbara Broccoli or Michael G. Wilson, who exert control over the series through their company Eon, would sign off on the deal. So it's just a rumor, but this is coming from Variety. And it's a big deal because nobody fucking wanted it. There goes your blockbuster. And it'll be interesting to see how things turn out because it looks like a lot of us will be going through a second lockdown. Whether we put up with it or not, that's another story. But movie theaters aren't opening anytime soon. And when people start comfortably going back, who knows? If they open up all the theaters, 3 months, it'll take 3 months for people to feel comfortable. We have a lot of movies coming out next year. Are we going to be able to see him? I don't know. I don't fucking know. But No Time to Me Too is probably going to be woke garbage. And that's the other question. Is Hollywood, if they want things to succeed in the theaters, are they going to continue making woke garbage that they know isn't going to sell? You can't fucking tell me that they didn't know Terminator Dark Fate would flop. If that's the case, that they didn't think that, I mean, that was as clear as it could be that movie would fucking fail. So either Hollywood's that dumb, which means they'll continue making woke crap until like they get beaten over the head. I don't know, and decide that we've lost enough money. We'll see. As far as No Time to Me Too and James Bond staying in his lane, does anybody like care about James Bond anymore? I do. The last couple of movies have been very average and boring. Casino Royale was fucking genius, but it's all been downhill from there. And if they make it woke, I mean, that'll just, it'd be just another franchise gone. Another franchise gone. Please don't change anything about your channel. Big Daddy MRI for $2. I won't. No. Everything's staying the same here. We're just going to do some more somewhere else. But it's not going to take away. It wouldn't, like there's certain videos that I'm going to do on this channel, and this channel will always be the priority. That's going to be for like, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to talk about that I can't get to in live streams. And plus I want a clips channel for my live streams. I mean, each of my live streams is about 4 or 5 of somebody's videos. I could just stop doing live streams and make 4 or 5 videos a day, be the kind of the same, but I like doing live streams. It's a lot of, yeah. It's more like the radio experience, I guess, without all the commercials. Hail, Gary. Side note, your new office looks great. Thank you, Ashley Harmon. I appreciate it. It's not quite done. I got some accent lighting to do. I need some bisexual lighting back there, but thank you. Midnight's Edge After Dark for $30. Stop it, Tom. What the fuck are you doing, man? Congrats on 300K, brother. Told you so. You did. Well, I didn't think I'd get past 100. So thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm very proud to be with you on Transparent Tube and Friday Night Tights. Tom, you're not supposed to super chat like that. That is too fucking much. Modalicious for $2. Historically, haven't Blue Team been the hooded ones? Yes. One of Biden's best buds was a member of the Klan. And Biden was against desegregating the buses, I guess, here in California. And Kamala Harris called him out on it, but now they're buddies. Yeah, historically, the Dems are the ones who were all about the hoods and burning stuff. J-Pat for 3 Canadian pesos. Happy 300K, Gary. Here's to 300K more. Thank you, J-Pat. I appreciate it. 300K more. I don't know about that. But if it all stops tomorrow, I'm having fun. The Leviathan for £5. We do not need to sue. It was my threat to sue you referenced. Was it? Okay. Send an email to S. Clark at UW-Gmail and demand to be removed from the database. Okay, I will. Well, I mean, like, Clownfish TV has demanded already, and they haven't really gotten a response yet, have they? But who I don't know, man. I was watching Midnight's Edge. They were talking about class action suit. That's where I got to. I don't know. Were you talking about it on Twitter, the Leviathan? But yeah, I heard Tom and Rob talking about the possibility of a class action, and they didn't say they were going to do it. I don't think it's possible. But I will send an email to sclark at UWGmail and asked it to be removed. That would be great. If it was that simple, awesome. Walter Snyder for $5. Friday Night Tights was ghosted on my feed. I could even search or find it until you posted it on your live channel. Yeah, I noticed that last night. Doomcock's Inquisition was ghosted on my phone, but it wasn't ghosted on my browser. So do me all a solid. I know I ask you so much. If you see Friday Night Tights ghosted again, please screen cap it for me and email Gary@nerdrotic.com, because the ghosting of streams has been going on since the coof started. I have tried repeatedly to get to YouTube to get an answer on this. It keeps happening. So now I'm just going to make a video on it. Do what everybody else does. Just going to make a video on it saying I'm being banned by YouTube. I'm being shadow banned by YouTube, and see if we'll get a response. Bobby Lane, welcome to the Jaloja level. I appreciate it. I mean, if it happens once in a while, it might be the algorithm thing, but it's happening constantly, and that's the third time I've heard that about Friday Night Tights. Don Fletcher, thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate it. Bless you. Bamagrad for $5. Hail, Gary. Care package was delivered and waiting for you to pick up. Enjoy. Oh, thank you. I will go down to the P.O. box today because I can get some Pete's. I am fasting currently right now, and you want to see what my breakfast looks like? This is my meals. Uh-oh. Mrs. Nerdrotic, I'll get right back to you. Oh, my phone's about to die. Here, so let's get this. There you go. I got to make sure I don't show anything I'm not supposed to. But, yeah, that's my breakfast right there. 3 days, that's all I've had. And I am not going crazy yet. Don Fletcher, thank you for the $20. Bamagrad, thank you for the $5. Average channel for $14.99. I hope you're keeping well, Gary. I am doing very well. I hope you are keeping well. Thank you for the $14.99. Yeah, it sucks to leave and pick your family up and stuff, but I'm not like, down about any of this. I'm going to speak my mind. I think it's important to hear a story, especially my wife's story, because I mean, she's not going to get any justice. She's just not, she's not going to get any sympathy. I've already seen some of the comments, not going to repeat them. Some of the people telling us to get the fuck out and it's just another white woman, whatever, that kind of bullshit. I just ignore. We've gotten a ton of support. So I thank you for that. But we're not going to play the victim. We would have liked the opportunity to reopen and survive on our own. We don't want to take any handouts. Very much against handouts. There's nothing wrong with taking one if you need one. Okay. By the way, if you need one, if you're down, when I went to rehab, I had to take general assistance, something you had to pay back in San Diego. And yeah, I had to take it because I had nothing. And that's fine, if it helps you get back on your feet. But, we did what we could, and we know a bunch of you cannot. So, I mean, I think if you don't say anything, nothing changes. It's the same shit with the Phantom Menace. You have to say something if you want to change something. And you can't just go off and be quiet if you get fucked over. I mean, say so. You get fucked over, say something, for Christ's sake. Don't go quietly at all. But there's a point where you go, okay, I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to, right now, you got the LA Times writing fluff pieces about fucking London Breed. Fluff pieces. She didn't do anything. She is the model mayor. She did nothing. And we have no idea if less people died because the numbers have always been low in San Francisco. And it's not like we were all trapped inside our houses. Plenty of people were walking around. The buses were running. The fucking subways were running. So maybe, just maybe, it was a different strain there. Who fucking knows? I have no idea, but the numbers were always low, which means you should have opened up sooner. But notice that they're just starting to open stuff up when it gets really close to the election. That's a fucking coincidence, isn't it? Not like San Francisco's voting is going to matter. Like they're all going to blindly vote for one party anyway. Somebody asked me about my fasting plan right before I talked about it. Where'd it go? Fat Steven Seagal beat up Safe Space for 2 Canadian pesos. He's got that's fucking comics division thing. Gary, can we get a beard stroke at a medium pace? Sure. Right. There you go. Don't be tubing to that one, Fat Steven Seagal, freak. Oh, my Lord. Where'd it go? There it is. What is your fasting plan? Do you exercise a lot? Brian Lewandowski for $2. Yes, I go to the gym once or twice a day. And my fasting plan is called Restore Core. You can find it, search Amazon and Nerdrotic, and you'll hit my Amazon page. And there's a thing called, or just go to Amazon and look for Restore Core, the 14-day one. It's very expensive. Okay. It's like $300. But if you follow it to the T, it works. So you have to, the workout is you have to, at the very least, walk for a half an hour a day. But, you will lose weight fast if you follow I did. Everybody's different, but I did. And because I followed the instructions to a T. And then I did it for an extra week, which is what I would recommend. I'm still in the not eating phase. I don't get to eat until tomorrow. And that's only rice cakes. I'm doing this not to lose weight. I'm doing it to cleanse. I was eating too much salt and shit. You guys are bored of that shit. You don't want to hear it. Venom Snake for $2.99 Australian. They want to scare us out of our rights. Venom Snake, you're right. That's what they are doing. They are dividing us and scaring the shit out of us. So we become good little good little children, and we behave. I don't fucking behave very well. And I'm guessing a lot of you don't either. Hail to you and your family, and thank you for being so supportive to us smaller YouTubes. You're not smaller. Truthy Magoo for $5. You're up and coming, dude. I'm small. If you look at it that way, I mean, like compared to 100 million subs. No, we're up and coming. You have your own thing. You're getting, you got traction. Just keep at it. Razor Tune for 50 Swedish krona. Hi, Gary. Love your resistance towards the woke. Do you like retro 2D platform? My game newly got released on Steam. Check it out if you dare. What's it called? Koranuran. I'll check it out. I have Steam. I'm not the biggest gamer in the world, but I'll try it. If somebody asks, I will certainly do that. All right. I've got it noted down. Thank you. Concentration camp in Brisbane, Australia. For Australian $7.99. I denounce white supremacy. I denounce this a-hole Australian. Sadly, this is what Australia has turned into. I am disgusted. Australia has fucking, dude, you have the crocodile hunter, Crocodile Dundee. You got some fucking badasses down there, and you got some little soy freaking self-coupling dude with a innie for a fucking Johnson. Straight up being the Karen of YouTube, snitching us all out, putting us in categories that's easy. It makes it easier to censor. They're censorship badges. That's exactly what the fuck they are. Now, I don't blame all Australians, though. I don't. Here, I'll show you what the guy, he's got a mask on, but here's the fucking tool. I mean, I could make an arbitrary group of potential pedos, put him on it. Wonder how much he'd like that. Here is a Ubakarin. He's got a big fluffy, I mean, that straight up looks like a diaper on his face. Ubakarin. Oh, I want to bring the chat back. Sorry. All right. Problem being for £2, it's almost as if none of the left is anti-SJW. Some of you are. Actually, a lot of you are. And we need you. We need you guys just as much as we need the people on the right being anti-SJW. And a lot of you on the left are SJW. I just happen to be, dude, I sway back and forth. You know, I do. Very much against the whole tax thing. I like being able to kind of do whatever I want when I want to. I guess this is my politics. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. Fair? Don't tell me what to do and I won't tell you what to do. Identify however you like. Worship whatever you like. I don't care. Put your junk wherever you like, as long as it's an adult, a consenting adult. I don't care. Use whatever pronouns you fucking want. I don't care. Just don't tell me what to do. And we'll be cool beyond that. By the way, it doesn't matter what I think of you. I don't negate your existence. You don't need my approval for your existence. I don't have to accept you. There is no law. I don't have to accept you. I can tolerate. South Park talked about this. I can tolerate. I'm not going to get in your business. But I don't have to accept or respect you. But if you're nice, sure. You know, if you ask nicely, I prefer to be called a them, they in a conversation, and you're nice and respectful about it. Sure. I don't have a problem with it. If it comes up, I'd prefer to call you by your name. And I brought this up in the Inquisition. I know trans people and I call them by their name. Pretty simple. Heidi ho, neighborino. Gary, I just moved back to San Marcos and I just saw a signature collector for a gruesome Newsome recall. Sign it before you leave. Inzane81 for $5. I signed that bitch a long time ago. By the way, we need to put that back up there. Hang on. You get the website. Hey, is Eric K. You in there? Eric K. I don't see Eric K. I see Problem Being. Chris Persia. Eric K., if you're out there, could you pull up the Gavin Newsom recall website? Thanks, Inzane81. The Geek Blend. What's up, The Geek Blend? How's it going with the channel, man? $4.99. Congratulations on 300. Been watching your channel for a long time, and you're one of my favorites. Friday Night Tights is the best show on YouTube. Shit, hail. Thanks, brother. I love that show, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. And that, yeah, we worked hard on that one. We've kept it on Friday for 2 years straight. And shit. It's the guests, man. We get some great guests. And, Ryan coming on and the addition of Az has really meant everything to the show. And Odin and comics. Papa Odin. Congratulations, Papa Odin. I guess Jeremy, too. Oh, and Tom. Of course, Tom. Bamagrad, Gary, just a suggestion. Perhaps y'all could contact Australian Sky News and see if they might care to shine a spotlight on the label, that tool. Maybe. Which way do they sway, though? That's the kind of... sure. I think YouTube tested something out a couple of days ago. I could be wrong because I honestly, I don't know where their server farms are and I don't fucking program. So I don't fucking know for sure. But it was awfully weird that thing came out and views dipped on certain channels the very next day. But they seem to be back to normal now. Peppermint oil capsule for 10 pounds. Last week, some asshat said that I and all my loved ones would piss off my crime. I wouldn't join him in denouncing the UK government. He thinks he's fighting fascism, yet he uses fascist absolutes. Yeah. Even if I disagree with you, I'm not going to make you do that. I'm not going to say you're with us or you're against it. If you don't want to be, fine. I'm not going to force you to be into it. Now, I will say face the consequences if you don't do something, and if we all stay partisan and don't call our own parties out once in a while, you just become kind of a useless idiot at that point. I mean, you got to call your other, and honestly, that's what I see quite a bit. Even with channels like, people, I will see people call their own parties out. That's when you know it's a normal person, which is the majority. But also we're too busy working, too busy making the world go around. And that's where the normies come in, which do make everything happen. But sometimes they can be led astray. I mean, shit. Look at Disney Star Wars. Scottish Nerd for 5 pounds. Gary, have you thought about naming your new channel Nerdrotic Anonymous? Just a thought. We're all on somebody's list. These people love lists. They do. That's a good point. I was going to bring that up. I'm going to bring it up in my video. We're already on a list. YouTube has a list. They have us in categories. And it probably isn't too different than what that guy put up. I will say that. Speaking of Alcoholics Anonymous, that reminds me of an article I did want to go over here real quick. That Memology said he didn't have time because of school. He shared it on his community section. How am I going to get to it? This will be easier. Let's do it this way. Minnesota University wants to do an AA type program for whiteness. For one, let's read it. But how dare you fucking desecrate the sanctity of AA by even bringing this shit up in it? Fuck you. Do you even know what the steps are, you fucking mental midget? University of Minnesota offers 12-step AA type program to recover from being white. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Do you or anyone suffer from whiteness? We at Law Enforcement Today want to be proactive in getting our readers who suffer from this serious disease from help. And hopefully this is just a joke. Again, I just saw this part right here from Memology yesterday. But no, yeah, this is a lecture. This isn't the fucking Babylon Bee. I don't know what Law Enforcement Today is, though. This is why we recommend the University of Minnesota School of Social Work and Continuing Education series, Deconstructing and Decentralizing Whiteness in Practice, a 3-part series. I feel like we're maybe a year away from whiteness conversion therapy, says Drew Anon. Yeah. Sadly, this is no joke. We're serious. We truly want to help. This special series comes from a lecture format entitled Recovery from White Conditioning. Apparently, white people have a genuine sickness, according to the therapist Christina Combs. Some background of our leader, teacher. Combs received her Master of Social Work from the University of Minnesota in 2008. She has worked as an in-home family therapist, outpatient therapist, and clinical supervisor of a school-based mental health program. She is a LICSW licensed independent clinical social worker. In other words, she don't work for nobody. She teaches white people how to use a 12-step program similar to Alcoholics Anonymous to recover and reclaim our full humanity. Combs, who created the program, spent years of struggling to navigate the role and presence of presence. Is that supposed to be presence? Presence of whiteness in her personal, academic, and professional journeys, the website for the series claims. Professional journey, huh? She's self-employed. Welcome to the mind of the female white liberal. Oops, we mean welcome to the mind of our future non-racist white person. The College Fix reported in a lengthy article detailing the presentation. Combs began the lecture by acknowledging that I am on traditional Dakota land, the territory of the native tribe which settled in Minnesota. She also acknowledged George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all of the other lives stolen from families and communities and our world due to police brutality and state-sanctioned violence. So let's go to the lecture. This is the University of Minnesota, folks. This is not a motherfucking joke. Part 1, recovery from white conditioning. Building anti-black practices and community. I don't want to build that. Why would I want to build that?
All right. Thank you so much, Joe, and the Center for Practice Transformation, and to everyone who's joining us today. It's an honor to share this work that we've been doing the last few years, using the model of recovery from white conditioning to build anti-racist practice and community. And so I want to begin by acknowledging that as I sit here today, I am on traditional Dakota land, and acknowledging that is one step to show respect, to affirm Indigenous sovereignty, and to stop the erasure of Indigenous people, history, and culture as we move toward more fully honoring the truth, which is so much the hope and commitment of this model. I also want to lift up and acknowledge George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all of the other lives stolen from families and communities and our world due to police brutality and state-sanctioned violence. Alongside also an acknowledgement
oh my
and
God.
lifting up of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Hang on, this thing is long. Let's.
Okay. To me, that echoes also of what Dr. Ken Hardy says, that the farthest distance for white people to travel is often from our heads to our hearts.
Did you hear that? Wait, let's go back. That was at 30. Let's see what the lead up was to that.
Let's see. Well, what I want to, again, thank you for noticing and observing. And something that I think folks talked about, it should be upsetting that we have to feel. And I want to, again, hold the tension that white women's tears have historically been and contemporarily are violent and can be really used in violent ways.
Oh my God, this stream might go forever. I might have to go over this whole fucking thing.
And we have to feel like, as white-bodied folks, we have to get out of our heads and into our hearts and allow ourselves to feel the grief and the heartache and the rage of what is happening. And so for me, every time I watch it, I notice how she goes to a place of vulnerability and to feel and to allow herself to cry, and then really quickly buttons that back up into a space of rationalizing, defense.
Oh my God. So what's her first step? Where's step 1? What's this 12-step model?
I sat down at my computer and wrote out the first draft of this 12-step model of recovery from white conditioning.
Okay, where's the 12 steps? I saw a link in step 1. So is step 1
to keep us
admitting you're powerless over your whiteness? I mean, like, what the fuck is it supposed to be? Oh, so yeah, okay, so she did rip off the fucking steps. Step 6, we were entirely ready to deconstruct previous ways of knowing as they had been developed through the lens of white supremacy. You fucking cunt. How dare you do this to fucking AA? You fucking hack bitch. I'm sorry. Am I displaying some fucking rage there? This is like, I wonder if she's related to Heather Antos. I want to have them up so I read them correctly and I don't paraphrase any of my beloved 12 steps. So step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. This is after step 5 in AA, which is admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. It's about taking responsibility. Taking the steps of AA is about, like, you know, understanding that you're a fucking alcoholic, understanding that you have no power over that shit. And you got to turn it over to a higher power, God, whatever you want it to be. And then breaking yourself down. It's human school. That's what it is. It's human school. This is inhuman. This is unbelievable. This is hysterical. And she monetized it though. So clever girl. But holy shit. I should almost save that for Friday Night Tights. I think I need the lads on this one because that is some unbelievable shit. There she is. Does it get wider than this one? In 2015, how old is she? 10? Oh, she graduated in 2008, so she had trouble finding a job because she's crazy. So she's worked for herself as a licensed whatever because she's crazy and probably not very good at her job. So she became a snake oil salesman, a shyster. In 2015, after years of struggling to navigate the role of and presence of whiteness in her personal, academic, and professional journeys, Christina developed the model of recovery from white conditioning. I have a suggestion. I'm not going to say it here, but you know what she needs. I feel sorry for her parents. What a waste of fucking money on an education. Holy shit. All right, enough of that. Gary, have you thought of, all right, I read that one. Greetings from the new Republic of Ireland, now occupied territory. People waking up, though. My channel, super political. Great show. Thank you. Thank you, Gran Torino, for £5. Yeah. Oh, my God. Alt-Shift-M for $5. They cheer for a weapon that could be used against them eventually. Yeah, they do. That's the thing. They have no understanding that they're fostering their own demise. Hey, a witch hunt just in time for Hallows Eve. That's right, Gerard Garvin. Thank you for the $5. That's true. That's true. Phoenix Tangent for $5. My favorite part of Transparency Tube, he is not transparent on the judgment criteria for either the algorithm or his own judgment, right? Yeah, he's proud of it. He's proud of it because, you know, I don't know. I have no idea what goes through it sounds to me like he doesn't get out very much. Like he's just not a people person. Michael Lamb for $5 Australian. Gary, I couldn't even finish episode 2 of Star Trek Discovery. Should I rewatch DS9 or Enterprise? DS9. And then Enterprise. But go for DS9's much better. Crazy Cat Guy, thank you for the $5. You're doing a good job too. I appreciate it. All Metal Mike for $5. Love your show and was laughing my head off during Friday Night Tights. Thank you. Thank you. We tried. Yeah, Kurtz Metzger killed it, dude. He was great. Mr. Samuel Platinum for $2. Did you and DC do an Inquisition? We did last night. It was half ghosted. He hasn't re-uploaded it yet on the Harvey Zone, but I'm sure he will. I can give you the link is still live. You can go to my Twitter page, and the link is still live. He just unlisted it. It's not private, so you can watch it. Rebel Squadron for $5. Congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. You've earned it, my man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ram Bam 3000 for £1.49. Thank you for the phallic unicorn. And Rebel Squadron, God, it's been a while since I've seen you. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's fun. Metal Dragoner for $5. In the early 90s, Cali's problems came from the end of the Cold War and all the military contracts ending. Its problems now come from failed leadership. Oh, dude, the 90s problems was, they're nowhere near. I don't know why he brought it up. It was 30 years ago. We've had like 5 other problems since then. No, California's problems are one party leadership, and that party never being called out for not doing anything. Black community, Latino community, homeless community. My fellow drug addicts out there. I'm a recovering one, but we're all addicts. Are things better? Did things get better in the state of California? The economy got better, but and I'm talking specifically about the people who promised you things would get better. Did they come through on those promises, or do they keep blaming Washington and then getting reelected by blaming Washington, not doing anything, promising they'll do something, but then it's Washington's fault when they don't come through on their promises? That's fucking the California way. California seems like a place where the vices of the very poor and the very rich are rewarded and the virtues of the middle class are punished. Yeah, the middle class is demonized. We're demonized because they know how we vote. They know how, can actually be, it's centrist. And they need us for the tax because that's where they get all the tax monies from the middle class. But a lot of people in the middle class don't vote either. And they don't pay attention to what's going on, and they don't want to do the work necessary. That's why the fucking mainstream media is able to get away with what they get. They make things very flashy and easy for us to digest, and it's all bullshit now. So I don't know. I hopefully people, I know you guys are, and hopefully everyone starts to take more time to really get into for one, it's very hard to find the news without a slant. And everybody's got their slant, but I don't have an answer right now. I know the mainstream media is not the answer. XNL 493 for $5. Congratulations, Gary. You deserve it, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. American dealt with smallpox, polio. We survived. Robert Morgan for $4.99. Yes. Dealt with Spanish flu too. We will survive. The vast majority of us are going to survive. But right now, closing things down isn't the answer anymore. It's not the answer anymore. Some people are not going to survive. You know what? Some people aren't going to survive who didn't have the coof. Maybe we should start racking up numbers of incidental deaths and things that have, you know what? You can probably put a lot of suicides on this. Yeah. And I don't want those numbers to go up. I really don't. Like I said before, they can't break out this little part that, they got their pie chart that they come out with. that'll fucking scare you for a little while and keep everybody locked up. And man, it works on a lot of people. Based on the science that we have heard, I'm not saying anything untrue. You go out, you run your errands, put your mask on, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. There's a very, very, very good chance you're going to be fine. Like a 99% chance you're going to be fine. I read an article out of South Africa that for every one death of coof, there was 29 deaths due to lockdown due to increased poverty and starvation. Interesting. I'll have to find that, Darth Milk. Thank you for the $5. Hey, Gary, the comic shop in Tuscaloosa, Alabama is still going strong. That's good. That's good to hear. They're probably selling lots of other things besides comics. Thank you, Skull937, $5. Nothing from $5. Nothing gives $5 from New Zealand. The land your house is on be worth more than the house as an empty lot. Some real estate magic, but that has some variables. 1 million subs is 700,000 away. Yeah, I know. That's a long ways away, brother. But the land your house is on is worth more than an empty lot. Some real estate magic, but they has some variables. Well, as far as my house being worth, it's got to be, well, somebody's got to be willing to buy it for as much as I'm willing to sell it for, considering what I have into it, which is everything. That was my little American dream. I wanted to get a house. I mean, it's not like I own it outright. The bank still owns a bunch of it. I still make mortgage payments. But we're 20 years in. So we were close. We were close. Russell Hall, FYI, I saw the dark side of the Hunter laptop and it had nothing to do with crack or foot stuff. There's a picture of a... What? There's a picture of a girl tied up and being auctioned? Yeah, I do not want to... Just like somebody, if somebody has seen it and wants to write me a summary, I don't know if I want to watch that. I honestly don't know if I want to watch that. If that's the case, I mean, listen, it's, yeah, we can't even talk about that shit. There's one thing to have sympathy for another addict for being addicted to crack. And there's a whole other thing. Remember when I said, I was talking about like when I was getting high and stuff, it's not like I had control somewhat. It erodes your judgment, makes you do some fucking horrible things, but there were lines, no matter how high I was, I would never cross. I guess those get blurred easier for some people, but not for me. Like there's certain crazy shit I did, but there was certain shit I would never fucking do. I would never kill somebody. I would really go out of my way unless somebody hit me first. I wouldn't try to hurt anybody. I was just getting high and having fun. But that is some dark shit. That is dark. Hail Gary just started reading Lord of the Rings and holy crap, Frodo was 50 when he started his journey. Yes. Mr. Clark for $50. That's the one thing they kind of breeze past in the movie is there is 17 years between, Bilbo's birthday and Frodo embarking on his journey. And that's how long Gandalf is gone. Now, Gandalf comes back and checks in on him, right? But he'll come in the middle of the night, so Gandalf thinks something's up with the ring. Once he saw Bilbo do his thing during his birthday. And Gandalf is like, there's something up with that ring. We got to figure it out. So he lets Bilbo go. He talks Bilbo into leaving the ring. He leaves the ring with Frodo. And he tells Frodo to never put it on, like you guys saw. And then he embarks on trying to figure out what the fuck's up behind the ring. And he wants to talk to Saruman, but he doesn't. He's like, something is keeping me from talking to him. So then he goes on his little journeys and he tries to follow Gollum. Because remember, they don't know. They know Golem had it, but they don't know like how the ring got to Golem. And they figured it out. And he talks to Aragorn and he visits Frodo. But yeah, Frodo doesn't take off till he's 50. So hobbits don't come of age until they're 33. They live longer. Dwarves live like couple hundred years. Hobbits live like 130 years. But Bilbo was, the ring kept him from aging, and same with Frodo too. John Oakletree for $4.99. What people don't get are that the NYPD are part-time stand-up comedians. They have to be quick-witted because of all the crap. Dude was trolling. He probably was, and I totally get that, John Oakletree. But you're dealing with an SJW Antifa fucking twat. Humor does not work. Oh, wow. What's this? Oh, my God. You don't have to crawl on the ground. You don't have to crawl on the ground. I could turn off the camera. Hang on. Check this out. That was Mrs. Nerdrotic. She could have just walked in. I guess she didn't want to be on camera. These are pins we're going to give away. We're going to give away these pins and these hats. So these hats at a different color and these pins are going to be the giveaway on the Instagram. On the Instagram. Stay tuned. Oh, I'll post the giveaway in a second. But where was I? I was reading super chats. What people don't. Okay, yeah, and you're right. The cops can be funny, but instead that guy's all fucking fascist, and the guy was probably he could have been fucking with him, which is hilarious. And this is why we don't want them in charge at all, ever. FN for 5 Canadian pesos. Hail, Gary. With the current state of San Francisco, do you think Starfleet would still make its academy or pick Tijuana or some shit like that? I would pick Tijuana over San Francisco right now. At least there's donkey shows down there. Wow, Kibbles is delusional. Twerp couldn't even hold a proper baseball bat, and I'm not sure his swing probably wouldn't even bruise SJW Fantasy. Yeah, he's a fucking LARPer in life, Mr. Zodak for $4.99. Big bad Daniel Kibblesmith's going to come in with tape around his hands and yeah, dude. That might have been his boyfriend might have wrote that for him though. You never know. Pro CZA for 70 Zardozes. Love the show, Gary. Please, more vids, live streams at midnight is tough. Well, I don't even know where you are. Where are you in South Africa? South Africa. I'll do more of them early, but yeah, I've got to do more vids. I really am behind on vids, so I think I might just put a bunch out for the end of the month, and they do what they do. Mr. Zadok for $4.99. Congrats on 300K. Thrilled for you, man. You deserve. Oh, thank you. I'm just thrilled to be here another day. Thanks for the stream. Keep on rolling, boss. Says Ram Bam 3000 for £5. You are welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. There's a lot of you out there today. God dang it. Thanks. I know there's lots of choices out there, and I appreciate you choosing Nerdrotic. Arturo Espinoza Garcia for 50 Mexican dollars. Been following you since the beginning of your channel. Congrats. Thanks. What's your take on the new possible all 3 Spidey multiverse? Toby all the way. Toby all the fucking way. But I want a Spider-Man 4. That's what I want. But yeah, I'm happy to see Toby come back as long as they don't fucking kill him. But yeah, it sounds interesting. The multiverse stuff sounds fun. It sounds interesting. And it also sounds like they need a gimmick to get people back to the theaters. And that might be it. You know what? Marvel versus DC. Marvel versus DC. They both do their multiverses things. Then they do a movie crossover for the good of movie theaters. Jaja Carter for £5. Hey, Nerdrotic, congrats on 300,000 subs. You deserve it. Keep up the spectacular work. Thank you, Jaja Carter. Jaja, like the name. Dice Man 69 for $4.99. Hey, Gary and Hail Fandom Menace. Your vids give me a sliver of hope in humanity, reminding me that there are some who aren't batshit crazy. Love you. Thanks. Yeah. Not all of us are batshit crazy. Just a little. Just a little. Kibble Smith, a.k.a. Batgirl. Mr. Zadok for $4.99. I think you're on to something there. It could be Kibble's girl. Antonio Cardenas for $20 for the moving fund. Thank you, Antonio. I appreciate it. For $50, legalize adulthood. Nerdrotic, my brother from another mother. Sorry, I'm late, bro. Here's some buckaroos for Mylar bags and boards. Well, thank you. My shipment came in yesterday. I got it same day. Same day. So bagging and boarding and chatting with Az tomorrow at 10:30. 10 a.m. Pacific time. Sorry. Gary, did you ever read the comic Farley? I have not, Rob Slevin. I'll check it out, though. I'll see if I should. Thank you for the $5. A Phantom Boomer for $2. Gary, a generator you could get. Well, I don't. Why would I get a generator? The power doesn't go out. I mean, I don't live in Florida where there's hurricanes all the time. The power goes out like once in a while. And I had no idea it was going out, by the way. I went out and Melissa said, yeah, they said the power was going to go out. I'm all, it was supposed to go out last month and it didn't. And she's all, well, we got a new notice. And I'm like, well, I didn't know the notice was on the side of the fridge. I didn't look. How about the Nerdrotic Bugle for the new channel, the Nerdrotic Bugle? I have a name in mind. Mark C. What's up, Mark C. for $10? Liberals, smart, and money have no business being in the same sentence together. You are talking about a group of people who may understand what interest means, but have no clue what inflation means. No, they don't even know what interest means, Mark. Most of these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And we're talking about the politicians I was talking about earlier. No, they don't know the maths. And they don't understand that this all has to be paid for someday. Right? So we got some doctor out there saying San Francisco should have been the model and Trump completely failed because, by the way, it was supposed to be 2 million people dying. Our ICU beds across the country are not overflowing. We don't see cameras in emergency rooms. We don't see bodies on the street. I mean, with the China shit, we saw bodies on the street. There were bodies on the street. And it freaked everybody out, and it just didn't happen here. So now we know more. We know that if you have health issues, if you're like a heavy smoker and you're older, yeah, you might be in trouble. And China has a lot more people than we do, by the way. A lot. But there was video out there scaring the shit out of people, and then the video stopped. And then we started seeing graphs and numbers. And no, I understand. I'm going to hear from somebody going, my ICU beds are full. Yeah, I'll hear from one person. And I'm sorry, they're full in that one area. How many ICU beds does a hospital have? I've been in an ICU. It's sometimes 10, sometimes 20. San Francisco's had some of the lowest deaths for the COOF. They should have opened the stores earlier, but they were okay sacrificing 54% of the businesses because the politicians didn't have to worry about anything except their own reelection. That article, I didn't read you the whole thing because it would just fucking enrage me. They don't bring up small business. Again, Gavin Newsom doesn't bring up small business. They're like, we saved lives. We don't know that. Maybe. And some person will go, is a life worth, is a business worth a life? Well, it depends. Honestly, if we want to get down to brass tacks, is the person older? Was the health ailing? I don't know. Is my wife going to be able to create a clientele in a new city and recreate 25 years worth of work? No. Who's got more problems? The dead person or the living? I'm sorry, the person's dead. But guess what? What if the person who died from the coof was the breadwinner of that family, and they're the only ones, and now that other family can't work, and the economy is fucked forever, and they won't be able to find work. So they're fucked now too. See, we're just hyper-focusing on the coof. And most of us see through this bullshit. The vast majority of us understand that there's coof out there. You don't want to go crazy. But we still need to get open. We still need to work. One of my members, I repeat this all the time, works in healthcare. He's very serious about the coof. And he says we should not shut down the economy. What we should do is we should have taken this time to prepare and have, I don't know, mobile units we could set up if there's hotspots to get it taken care of. But last time I checked, I just watched our old president recover from it in 2 days. My uncle, 78 years old, overweight, recovered from it in 4 days. No, it was not worth losing that much business for. And it's utter bullshit to say that we would have saved more lives. And 200,000 is a big number. It's a big number. It is. It's like double what a flu does, right? Double, maybe triple. In a country of 331 million people. Hate to sound cold-hearted, but that's the way it goes. You know, right now we need to worry about the economy. And they're not, because it's safer for politicians to say it's the easier. If the economy was the way to go, that's the way they would go. But this is like Gavin Newsom wants to get reelected. So he can say, I saved lives. He could take that moral high ground that he loves to take. And then he'll blame the economy on Washington. Rumors are like tumors, aren't they? They spread and wreak havoc, says Crow T Robot from the Satellite of Love for $5. They can. Or they can be absolutely harmless. Depends on the rumor. Dorota 5, welcome to the proto-molecule level. Fred W. Manzo, thank you for the $4.99 donation. I appreciate it. George Malo for $49.99. What's up, brother? Best wishes on your move and congratulations on reaching 300,000, my friend. Been here since we were at 55K. Always make my week. Keep sharing the truth. Hail Nerdrotic. Hail George. I appreciate you. And yes, you've been with the channel for a long time. Love you, man. DD number 3 for $5. And thank you for the $49.99. I'm a third-year aerospace engineer major at a pretty SJW, if you will, school, and I just wanted to say that I really appreciate your content. You are welcome. And keep doing that smart shit. We need smart people. DD number 3. You like that? I'm very eloquent when I say things like that. Keep doing that smart shit. We need smart people. Quote me on that. George Malo for $99.99. What the hell, George? Hey there, Gary. Hope this finds you well. Hear what San Diego School District did today? Changed grading system to combat racism. No more discipline for children turning in late assignments or cheating, saying that's retrograding. That's retrograde to discipline. Crazy. Hail Nerdrotic. Yeah, that's why my kid is leaving. That's why we're leaving California. I love San Diego. But the school system is infected with far leftism. Like far, far crazy leftism. If you do not want to vote for the president, fill the circle for both candidates. If you leave it blank, a poll worker will fill it in. Will fill in the choice for you. Yes. Yeah. Please remember to do that. I hate to tell you what to do, but if you're going to vote, Fill in both dots if you don't want both, because somebody will fill it in for you. Bird of Prey is right. Thank you, Bird of Prey. Kapla, thank you for the $5. Pandemic ensued when your power went out last night. The many theories in the chat were a riot. Glad you're okay. Well, thank you, Mumblin' Burke, for $5. Yeah, I came in the chat later. I ran out to my car, plugged in my phone. Czar for 35 Zardoses. Test, good show. Thank you, Pro CZA. I appreciate it. For 100 Norwegian krona for Martin Tvet. Step 1 is admitting that you're racist, of course. Duh, I know. The disgruntled DM for $5. Well, now, I have a new person to pray for. I invoke the race card on this 12-step veto, says Ironcaster for $2. Yeah, desecrating the 12 steps like this. Like I'm not supposed to, because it's really not part of my 12 steps. But right now I hate that bitch for fucking desecrating this. I'll find a way to forgive her. She does look kind of like when a boyfriend breaks up, she's like, but I can still call you, right? I'll find you. R13M4NN for $10. UMN 2009. They told me I didn't know what it's like to be a POC. Even though, this University of Minnesota. Gotcha. 2009. They told me I didn't know what it's like to be a POC, even though I'm a white kid from Hawaii. Being white in Hawaii are like the POCs. I was the only white kid in the University of Minnesota class at the time. It's the minority. They say you don't know what it's like to walk in another man's shoes, and you don't. You honestly don't. But like, they don't know where you're from. They don't know what your experience is, and that's the thing. That's why you don't want to broadly generalize. Certainly, there's a thing called privilege. People have it. It's called economic privilege mostly. LeBron James. Wait, okay. We are in a hurry somewhere. Are the police going to give us an escort? If LeBron James needs to get somewhere, are the police going to give him an escort? Yes. I don't think they should anymore. I'm glad to hear it's against the law, but I'd like to see it enforced. I don't think the police should work with Hollywood anymore, ever, either. And I think they should start denying some of their shoots because, quite frankly, I've seen traffic blocked for days in San Francisco for a movie I never fucking heard of again. I never heard it released. I think it was like straight to DVD or something like that. They shut down my city, and it was hard to get my kid to school. I had to get up an hour early for some fucking retarded movie that I never saw. Fuck that shit. The normalization of slander is complete. It kind of is. Problem being, see, this is why you're smart. Thank you for the 2 pounds. It is. It is. The normalization of plagiarism. Alex Kurtzman does it all the time. And the normalization of slander or libel. Is it libel? I forgot. I got to think Spider-Man 2. Slander is spoken. Libel is written, right? Samurai Squirrel for $5. All the censorship is a repeat show for me. The MRIs and red pillars all got censored and departnered months ago. Yeah. No, and this is what Jeremy and I had a conversation. We have a continuing conversation about this. It's like, I mean, do we worry? I mean, we just talk about Star Wars. We just talk about Star Trek. I have been venturing in other places, but like, again, I have 1,007 videos, and most of them talk about pop culture. Do I have anything to worry about? This made me at least raise an eyebrow. Kind of, yo, I'm 19, just started a YouTube channel, Finding the Good Fight, like you. Maybe someday I could offer you a commission to collab with me. Cheers. 21st Century Holding Caulfield for $5. I would never accept a commission, but I would accept an invitation. I would accept an invitation. I got to check out your channel. Here's a promise. If you're doing a channel and you want me to come on, I can't promise I'll get on quick. I can't promise that I'll come on for sure, but I will promise you I'll never fucking charge you. No, just ask. Just ask. Cheers to the Highway 78 corridor. Phantom Boomer for $2. Yes, it's very very close to where I am right now. As usual, South Park got it right. The tolerance episode, we really need something like Rick and Morty or something new we haven't seen to make a point for this decade. Bobby Lane for $10. Yes. That was a great episode. Ash Shabs for 5 Canadian pesos. Hailed today and found my VHS copies of Dracula Dead and loving it, and Monster Squad. Gonna watch them again and recommend them if you haven't seen them. I've seen them. You got VHS. That's awesome. Jonathan Dolp for $5. It's bugging me that there has been no coverage of either of other candidates for presidents. No. Well, the libertarian one's a fucking moron. So yeah, ignore her. God, the Libertarian Party has got embarrassing. Fucking stop it. Maybe somebody else should run. Phantom Guard for $4.99. Got banned off of eBay for customizing predators. Oh, whoa. Customized for a customized predator that sold for under 30 minutes. And it had a custom price badge on it. And that's why I got banned. Oh, really? That fucking sucks. Email me the picture, Phantom Guard. I want to see it. I love buying custom shit on eBay. Hail, Gary, you should look into black powder revolvers and the rules about them. Oh, I will, Grand Inquisitor, for $5. I will. Oh, as far as I know what you're saying. I got you. Jen for $5. Shout out to author Stephen Walton's second book, The Phantom Menace: Rise of the Rebellion, which should be out soon. No, wait, it is out. Hang on. Did it? Yeah. I listen, it's live stream. Hang on. There it is. Here is the link to it. Phantom Menace 2, Rise of the Rebellion. The man is documenting it. I said books would be written about this, and it was. Thank you, Jen. I became a more vocal Republican. The second being apolitical wasn't good enough for SJWs. They created many of the new voices on the right. Deadwood Dale for $5. Yes. Being an independent leaves me free to vote however I like. And quite frankly, the local Democratic Party here has completely fucking lost me. When my wife loses a business and I see that they don't give a shit about the people, they care about their party, then fuck their party. I will depower them, defund them any way I can. I wish I could stay and fight, but I can't. You know, are there good Democrats out there? I don't know. I just know that we keep retreading fucking San Francisco politicians who are all crooked as fucking Lombard Street, okay? Adam Pratt for $5. As a fellow Bay Area brother in arms, 707. So glad you and your family are able to get out of here in one piece. Keep up the awesome content. Thank you, Adam Pratt. I appreciate it. Hopefully you can get out of there. Hopefully you're in one of the nicer areas like, you know, Walnut Creek or something like that. All right. You're going to go back down. Theo Mobile, welcome to the Gandalf level. The disgruntled DM for $5. Thank you again for the super chat. We're going to go down here. Russell Hall, Brett Carlton. I don't use social media. Could you please offer the hat and pin for purchase? Go Capitalist. Yes, Brett Carlton for $5. What you need to do is you got email, right? So email me, Gary@nerdrotic.com, and I will forward it to Mrs. Nerdrotic. Okay? We'll take care of it. If you don't want to get on Instagram, I understand. Martin Sved for 50 Norwegian krona. We don't hate Biden Jr. for being an addict, but that doesn't mean people have to vote for his enabler dad. Exactly. No, and this goes beyond addict, though. Like when I first heard the story, I'm like, is he just a crackhead? If he's just a crackhead, then there's no story here. And I would recommend you stay away from it if it was just a crackhead. But this isn't just a crackhead. No, this is a compromised crackhead that was enabled by adults and manipulated. So it's not really about Biden Jr. I mean, except for his fucking disgusting actions, which he should be in jail for, in my opinion. It's about the enablers who knew what they were doing and the people around him. And this would be the biggest story of the fucking century if a Republican was doing this. And it should be either way, Republican or Democrat. The media has failed us all. And they're no longer useful. And I think we might be on our way of getting rid of them, which could be incredibly dangerous, by the way. But if it's just us, that's fine. I'm fine with that. If it's just us reporting and I got to go sift out and find some guy, you know, like Tim Pool or something like that, I'm okay with that. Do I agree with everything Tim Pool says? No, I think he's very hyperbolic and he gets a little black pilly at times, but then he reels it back. Do I like him though? Yes. I trust him. I trust Tim Pool. I'm sure he would disagree with me. For the most part though, I think he's a fucking pro and he's great at what he does. Like without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I would talk to him in a second. I would love to have him on the show, but I'm sure a lot of people say that, Tim. Nathaniel Larson for $10. Finished reading 1984. Crazy how much it has in common with what is going on today, especially the short, fat men and the women of the party. Soy boys and Karens. Right. Nathaniel Larson for $10. Oh man, God, it's been a long time. I should read it. What is the best sci-fi series, any format available today? Ooh. Classic Doctor Who. Classic Doctor Who. Unbeatable. I would, classic Doctor Who, any of the older books, any of the older audio adventures. I mean, unless you're talking to like, I'm a big fan of Roger Zelazny. I always get his name wrong. The Nine Princes of Amber. That shit was brilliant. But I'm more of a, like for books, way more of a fantasy guy. But yeah, I would Doctor Who. You said any format? Doctor Who. Classic Doctor Who. And I mean the neo-classic too. Let's go to season 6 of the new series. But that's what I would do. I would you've got a world that you could I don't know if you could finish it. I don't know if I can finish it. I haven't read every book. I haven't listened to every audio adventure. And I'm still working my way through them. The older comics, I'm trying to find shit you can't get in the United States now. It's endless and it's great. And then you really get the impact of how much they fucked up. Like, I think there's a lot of Americans who just watched the new show who don't understand. And I don't know if I will never understand it the same way somebody in the UK does. Okay. So it's not part of the cultural fabric of my country or the fabric of my country and the culture. I just know it from being into it for decades. But I mean, like, you understand what they did in like 5 minutes. They for political reasons. If you're here for for political partisan reasons, they took this beloved character called the Doctor, who's been a man for many, many years, and they turned him into a little black girl to virtue signal, destroying 55 years of a well put together universe it's so perfect in the way that they don't try to answer every question. They leave a lot of things ambiguous about the Doctor. They don't tell you everything about how the universe works. And that leaves the artist and the writer to be free to fill in gaps while respecting the basic foundation of the Doctor. And then you could go as crazy as you want. Doctor Who could do things Star Trek could not. because of the way its canon was constructed. And they fucked it up. They fucked up like a story they could have told for 1,000 years. And I'm not kidding. They fucked it up. And now it's desperate time. So yeah, Doctor Who. You got a lot out of this super chat, by the way. Java Bean. No, it's okay. Thank you for the super chat, Will. Java Bean for $2.99 Australian. Congrats on 300K, mate. Do you have a Mego Fourth Doctor? I do not. I do not. I meant to get one, and I just never got around to getting it. Now I have the Biff Bang Pow like knockoff, but I don't have a Mego Fourth Doctor. I had one in my cart for the longest time on eBay, and I was going to pull the trigger, but then I moved. So, I mean, eventually I'll get one. Eventually I'll get one. I know what's the Mego brand again called again over there? It is, I forgot what it's called. They call it something different, like Denny Fisher, right? Denny Fisher. Yes. My so-called mix channel for $20. They attempt to alter, and by the way, thank you, Java Bean. Java Bean is a good Australian listener. Good dude. My so-called mix channel for $20. They attempt to alter the future by mucking around in the past. Critical race theory is evil. It is the source of all of their corruption, just like Metroid Prime. It must be ended now if we are to survive. I completely agree. And I'm glad that the president's removing it. Did that just fall? How long has that been falling over? Sorry. I just noticed that. Sorry. Let's go that way. I'm going to turn this on soon. Hopefully it works. You'll find out Friday if that thing works. Hopefully it survived the trip. I haven't turned it on in years. This is my pinball machine. All right. Sporking and the critical race theory. It's a good thing the president was getting that the fuck out of our, because they were really trying to throw that through government. And critical race theory is some dangerous shit. It's some dangerous fucking shit. Again, we can have a conversation, but when you're coming at us like, it's almost like they showed their hand too soon. Don't you think? They're like, this is it. This is it. We're going to show our hand. And wow, the crazy came out this year. I mean, the fucking crazy came out this year. And you know what I'm worried about though? It's going to lead, because this happened, it's going to lead to a lot more restriction. And these fuckers are going to end up ruining it for us. So what's going to happen is we're going to get more laws and we're going to get clamped down. And alls we did was like, wait a minute. They're the fuckers who burn everything down. So now you're going to restrict us. And now, I don't want a world where cops wear masks, but they might have to protect their identity. So they're like creating the world they almost want to fight. It's clown world. Congrats. Open up the country and finish the book, George. Oh, bye. Sporky News Podcast. I got some bad news for you, buddy. Got some bad news. Here's George's latest update. Here's another pic from the past, an original pilot for the Game of Thrones. We shot the wedding of Daenerys Targaryen and Khal Drogo in Morocco. Ian McCease played Iriel Morpadis, a magister of Pentos, and I played one of the wedding guests, presumably another magister. Man, that pilot must have sucked. Both of us, alas, were left on the cutting room floor when Danny was recast and the wedding was reshot. Ian McNeice was terrific as Illyrio, by the way, but a scheduling conflict made him unavailable for the reshoot. I never did find time to do another cameo, but I suspect the show was better for it. If you want to see my cameos, I do one in Beauty and the Beast, Sharknado 3, and Z Nation. And then he talks about fucking wild cards. But guess what? He doesn't talk about the book. That book is never getting fucking finished. Hail Sporking News Podcast. Will Warwick for $5. In your opinion, what is the best sci-fi series in any format? Oh, I read that one. I did. Do you see Disney Plus getting Moon Knight right? No. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. If it gets 2/3 right, I would be happy. So it'll be, they'll work it in a way where Moon Knight was trained by a superior woman and he'll be surrounded by 3 other women who will all be just as good as him. And then he'll fight a villain who's a woman who's more powerful. Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with Moon Knight, none of them with PG-13 that are any interesting at all. As a matter of fact, the better comic books, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, I don't know if Disney would adapt them, because they're comics, so they're still kind of mellow, but that might be too dark for Disney Plus. Fuck, Disney's for kids. It's a little kiddie channel. I don't know how the fuck they expect to survive. If AT&T is just being dumb right now. No rated R on your streaming service? Come on. And you want adults to watch that shit? The Physicality Channel for $5. Flu kills average of 35,000 a year in U.S. over past decade. COVID killed 231,000. That's 6.6 times more with social distancing and mostly outside flu season. There you go. I thought the flu killed 60,000 people. I could be wrong, though. Did you know that obesity kills 2.8 million people a year? Maybe we should lock the fridges. Okay, it's 24,000 between. Yeah, this is a big if. It's between 24,000 and 62,000 deaths. So it can be 60,000 a year. And that's the same number. There's 75,000 to 100,000 overdose deaths a year just from opiates. Just from opiates. That's not any other drug. We should lock the CVS's. And the Walgreens. You know all the things the protesters were breaking into? The Walgreens. They were protesting and they were liberating all of the Vicodin and the Oxycontin. The person dying from the coof wasn't the breadwinner. The person was retired. My 80-year-old grandmother got the coof, and it's no joke if you're old, but no disease is a joke at that age, says Martin Tved for 100 Norwegian krona. No, it's not. It really isn't. I'm sorry she passed. Phantom Boomer for $5. San Diego gouge and exhortation generally keeps the area running, and we're a mile from the medical center as the crow flies. Oh, there you go. I know where the medical center is. I could see it. You mean the Kaiser Medical Center, Phantom Boomer, for $5? I can see it from my house. The new number 2 for $10. Hail, Gary. I don't super chat you often, but congrats on 300K. I've been subbed since 7,000. Yes. I love your content, especially Friday Night Tights. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. I'm glad you especially love Friday Night Tights. We work hard at that. Have you seen the documentary Age of Deceit by Face Like the Sun? It's incredibly good if you're into UFO, alien, spiritual stuff. Oh, I'll check it out. Tyler Hood, thank you for $10. Most definitely. Martin for 50 Norwegian krona. It's funny to watch you live, Gary, but sometimes you look 25 and sometimes you look like you're Yoda's age, depending on your angle. I'm more Yoda's age than 25. I'll accept that. Sergeant Politeness for $2. Congrats on 300,000. Cheers and on to 500,000. Thank you. Listen, 300,000's fine. 300,000's fine. And I've been called worse things than almost Yoda's age, so I don't trip. I have around 100 classic Doctor Who books, says Kenneth Larocque for 5 Canadian pesos. That's awesome, and you will be busy. I have, I'm working on my collection. I have probably about 100. But I cheated. I worked at a comic store. So during the modern era, I just ordered every book I saw come through previews. I just went, yep. I got all the hardback ones and everything. And I haven't gotten through all of them. David Mark for 5 Canadian pesos. Transparency Tube is about to be sued into oblivion by hundreds of legal channels they just defamed. Already emailed Robert Barnes and Viva Frey. Yeah, I'm going to go back in that super chat and email and see if I can be pulled off the list. If not, I'll help anybody who wants to be helped. But honestly, if you're going to label me right, listen, I'll just put it this way. If I was right, if I was right-wing, if I was a conservative right-wing card-carrying Republican, I would fucking say so. It would be great for my channel. I would just go full political and go, God damn it, let's do it. And my channel would blow the fuck up. But I'm not. I'm just not. I definitely will like freedom of speech, free expression. Don't like SJWs. And Republicans are welcome here. Always be welcome here. You're not going to be demonized. You're not going to be looked at as anything else. And I know who I'm going to vote for. And it's just, it shouldn't matter here. It doesn't even matter. For a free exchange of ideas, I am open to all of it. And there are people come in and, sometimes they're respectful and they throw a counter argument, and that's great. That's normal, but that's not Twitter. That's not 2020, is it? But yeah, I'm not keeping anything from you guys. I just don't like picking political parties because there's always a problem. There's always some issue where I'm like, Picard, hashtag never forget. Congrats again. Thank you. I just don't think it's very punk rock to follow rules and suck on the system's knob. That's just me. And that's why I didn't really work out in Hollywood very well and work in the corporate structure there. It just wasn't for me. DD3, I am also an aerospace engineer, and my school was University of Minnesota, the topic of the day. I was discriminated at University of Minnesota in 2009 for being white, and you can be, by the way. R3M4NN for $5. Racism is racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism. There's just racism. Never got into Doctor Who. Red Dwarf all the way. Human Kirk for £5. Will you YouTube about it? The lead lister is a punk slob sounding like John Lennon and not woke. I will most definitely get in the Red Dwarf. I've had friends into it forever trying to get me into it, and it's just a matter of sitting down. So I'll sit down, and somebody sent me a DVD and I'll watch it. All right, we're near the end. Sergeant Politeness for $2. Congrats on 300,000. Cheers on to, I read that one. I'm just going to go up and see, make sure I didn't miss any. Wanted to get them all today. If I miss some, I'll get them on the square up. Diceman69 I read that one. Okay. So yeah, the super chat square ups are if I miss one, because sometimes this system isn't great and I got to refresh it. Sometimes I'll miss them and I don't mean to miss them, but I don't leave a super chat behind. So those come out Friday morning at about 11 a.m. on Nerdrotic Live. Please subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. That's where this live stream will go when it is done. I also turn this into a podcast. So if you're on fucking Spotify or iTunes or Player FM or any iTunes mirror, you can search Nerdrotic and you'll find I turn all my videos and all my live streams into podcasts. So you can listen to them while you're on the road if you want to. So if you want to do that. Tomorrow I'll be live at 10 a.m. Pacific time with Az. I'll be on for a couple and a half hours. I do have to get some videos done. And then we'll be back Wednesday for the Nerdrotic Nooner at about 12-ish. And of course, Friday Night Tights, 2 p.m. Pacific time with EBS, Ethan Van Sciver. And I'll let you know if there's an Exozone this Thursday. Not sure yet. It depends on how many videos I get done. But stay tuned to the community section. Stay tuned to Twitter. Oh, yes. I need to do this now. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. All right, here's a link. This is to my wife's Twitter. She is running a contest. It is Swag Sunday. New Insta swag. And this is part of it. And then a hat. Okay. And we give them away. So you got to follow us on Nerdrotic Instagram. So it's Instagram.com/Nerdrotic. And if you follow her instructions, she will give them stuff away. Now, this stuff is available for purchase as well. We try to make the price as cheap as possible. We don't do big runs. So it's not the cheapest shit in the world, but it's not the most expensive. But if you would like to, that'd be great. I will retweet this as well. But there's the link to her Twitter. Please give her a follow. She's only got 3 likes on this. What the fuck? What the hell? So let's fix that. I'm just going to retweet it now. And it's at Agent Bossy Boots. That's my wife. That's Mrs. Nerdrotic. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks to the Modrotics who are, we got Mark Lerzeth. We had Eric K. We got Problem Being, Chris Persia, the Canadian Wrench. You all are great. It's a thankless job. Thanks to everyone who super chatted. Thank you for 300,000 subscribers. I could not have done it without you guys. And thanks for putting up with the whole California talk and actually showing a lot of support for it, quite frankly, which was surprising. So yeah, I've got a couple of videos coming out. I'll try to work on them tonight after I get my voice back. Go work out with Nerdrotic Jr. Thanks to Lady Greymaster, and hope the Bambino gets better. Sure, she's going to be fine, but she'll be back next week. I'm giving her the week off. So we have determined that Gary is between 25 and 700, and STD is taking place in Icelandora or Pandisland. It's Icelandora. And I'm 51. So I'm a little closer to 25 than 700, but I did a lot of drugs. Well, I mean, the reason I grew a beard was I got tired of being called kid by people younger than me. So, but that might not be the case now. I'm getting kind of old now. So thanks. George, thanks for the $99 super chat and the $49 super chat. And same with you. Let's see. We got another one here. Thanks. Legalized adulthood. I appreciate you. Thanks for the 2,800 likes. Love you guys. And let's go out with some Perry Chan.
Nerdrotic.com.
Previously on Escape from San Francisco. This just in, an unidentified man has been caught doing a deuce on Nancy Pelosi's driveway.
Mr. Beekler, having considered all the factors and aggravations and mitigations in this case and found the offense was brutal, indicative of wanton cruelty, the judgment of this court sentenced you to life in prison.
Come on. That's bullshit.
No, no, that is trash.
This is not okay. It's just not. We gotta like lock arm in arm and be together in a football locker room. That stuff is gone. Those barriers are gone.
Welcome. Please enjoy your stay.
Now it's 1984. Knock a knock.
Hi. How you doing? Hang on.
It's gonna be so good.
Nerdrotic.com.
Thank you. I want you all to have a very good evening. And remember, not all who wander are lost. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.